How's it going on, everyone? I'm doing something new today for this stream. It'll be a short one, most likely. I probably won't stream the whole Scrum, but I do want to stream some of it. I don't know if I hope the AEW doesn't like take down my channel. It's a Scrum, it's on YouTube, so I would figure they wouldn't. But I want to see people's thoughts, the wrestlers' thoughts on the show tonight, and whatever answers they. I usually watch the Scrums after the AEW shows because they're pretty entertaining most of the time. But but WrestleDream tonight was probably like it's crazy. AEW does like their pay-per-views are like some of the best wrestling I've ever seen. And they every I don't think there's been a single AEW, not even AEW, but I don't think there's been a single wrestling pay-per-view that that I've ever like from AEW that I thought was like less than like a A tier show. There's been some shows that are like that have like okay matches and okay angles, but for the most part, most of their most of their shows are like top tier wrestling. It's crazy. I get my wrestling fix from AEW, obviously, and they AEW has helped refuel my pro wrestling love. Like WWE has never ever made me feel like this. They've never made me feel happy. Like there's usually like when I'm watching a WWE pay per view, it's like cool moments, cool angles, but nothing that's like that shows that they care about the fan. It's only things that they want to push or they want to like they want to hammer into people's faces and heads. It's never anything that the fans want. It's always what the company wants because the company is a $1 billion company that has people to have people to please. It's not. It's a rest WWE is like a. It's like a. I wouldn't. I'm not gonna say a business because wrestling is a business itself, but I think it's like there's it's like system. It's very systematic and it's very yeah. I don't really know what else to really talk. I mean to really say about WWE's way of booking things because they just do what their plan is. Like they don't ever go against the grain. They don't need to. Yeah, they're I guess they're doing good. I haven't watched anything from them in a long time. I think WrestleMania was like the last show I watched like fully. Because I wanted to see Cody Rhodes win. He didn't win, obviously. Uh, but they're keeping things fresh, I guess, with whatever they're booking, however they're booking things. Um, when the scrum starts, it's gonna be really loud, so I'm gonna have to turn it down once they start. I turn the chat off because there's some weird people that be chatting on the AEW stream, but I don't know, their product just doesn't interest me at all. They cater towards themselves for the most part, which hurts the fans because it well they're it seems like they're leaning towards fan direction now, but it's with depending on what they want to do because it's like the LA Knight thing is it seems like they're going towards the LA Knight now, but it's when they had a direction for him to go. I guess they're putting him in the bloodline thing now, which is probably gonna either make or break the guy. I love LA Knight. I've been a huge fan of his for like 10 years, more than 10 years, I think. Um, Huge fan of LA Knight, but they pushed they waited a long time to push him. He was in NXT last year. He was doing some pretty good stuff in NXT, and then they brought him up to the main roster. Vince changed his name, went through whatever he went through. Um, and then he started to get reactions, good reactions, and they still waited to they just kept him on ice. Like they had him doing promos or cutting his promos off the show. It was rough for him for a while, but at least he's getting featured more. I just hope he can stay healthy because he got sick like last week, got COVID or something, and then he was off the show. But hopefully everything works out for him, and hopefully he can get over and get over the hump that is WWE's booking and get through it unscathed, which would be nice. But anyway, I did not want to talk about WWE tonight. I wanted to talk about AEW, which is the home of pro wrestling. It is the home of American pro wrestling. It's tonight was like it was very much a celebration of pro wrestling. Um, every match was fantastic. Every match was I don't really give like star ratings. That's not my thing, but I really enjoyed every single match tonight. Every single match had crazy moments. Every pay-per-view, every wrestling, I mean every AEW pay-per-view has crazy moments and like moments that you'll remember forever for the most part. And AEW has been doing monthly pay-per-views for the last like 2, 3 months. It seems like not really been monthly, it's been like almost bi-weekly. It's kind of weird. But if it works for them, I think they're trying to get 12 pay-per-views a year. I don't really like the 12 pay-per-views a year type of thing. I really like their 4 pay-per-views a year thing with TV specials happening through the year. But I think they're leaning towards more pay-per-views a year, probably to help with booking, so booking could be more stable. That's what I feel. So like Tony Khan is gonna book month to month instead of every 4 months, or like book like towards pay-per-views every 4 months. Because it was a little weird at times where Tony Khan was like, well, he would be the shows would be not as exciting to watch leading up to or like in the middle of like the 4 month pay-per-view period. So it's the last few weeks have, I mean last like few months have been pretty good TV because everything has been flowing better because there's been more pay-per-views to build towards. I like that a lot. So hopefully they can settle on a pay-per-view schedule that won't hurt the fans wallets too much. I've paid for every AEW pay-per-view, I'm pretty sure. Um because I want to support this company. This company is very important to me. It's very special to me. It's without this company I probably wouldn't be watching wrestling anymore. And I've been watching since I was like 7, 6, something like that. But yeah, I don't know what the weakest match on the card was. Probably I would I wouldn't say FTR versus Aussie Open, but that was like in the second to last match, and people were like tired. The fans were tired of it. Well, not of the show, but like they were like drained of their energy until the main event. Uh, but the crowd for the most part was pretty good throughout the show. It was like there wasn't really much downtime for the fans. Like there was big match after big match after big match, which was pretty good. AW has that every pay per view for the most part. There's really no downtime for like matches. I would say the match of the night would be I really enjoyed the main event, Christian versus Darby, and I enjoyed Hangman versus Swerve. Hangman versus Swerve is probably the match of the night, maybe. No, I think it had to be Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. I think that definitely wins the match of the night because it is a definite match of the year candidate. Um, I think Kenny versus Will from Wrestle Kingdom earlier in the year is probably my favorite match of the year. That was a insane, nasty match. Like that was a that was a Kenny like returning to his New Japan days level match. And their for it wasn't Forbidden Door, was it? No. What match? No, I think was it Revolution? I don't remember where Kenny versus no, it was Forbidden Door. Yeah, because All In was Jericho versus Will. So yeah, it was Forbidden Door. That second match was like a great match too. But Zack Sabre versus Danielson, that was a clinic. That was a wrestling clinic. It was crazy. Um, what else? Um, the 0 hour. I was at work during the 0 hour, but I caught all of Claudio versus Josh Barnett. That match was insane. It was like I never really watched any Josh Barnett matches. I know of him. I've known him. I've known of him for years, but that match was like it was grapple heavy. It was like a preview of Danielson versus Zack Sabre from later on in the night. Uh, Barnett brought like he was like testing like you I can tell I have like I've been watching wrestling for years and I have like the eye for it. So I was seeing like what Barnett was doing and how he was wrestling against Claudio. He wanted to bring out like the grappling side of Claudio, and he did. I think Claudio couldn't keep up sometimes. I feel, but Barnett like he was impressed with Claudio. Claudio did pretty good tonight. He ended up winning with what did he win with? I don't. What did he? Was it a roll up? I don't remember what he won with. It was like a quick win. Uh, it wasn't like a finisher win. It was like I don't remember what it was. I think it might have been like a roll up or a jackknife or something. But yeah, Barnett did a really good job against Claudio tonight. Hopefully he gets brought back for some other matches later because he can do pretty well in like exhibition matches. Be like that type of guy. Maybe he can be the BCC's heavy. He could be like their special uh like what is it called? He can be their special like grapple master or something. Like or he can replace Regal too. That could also happen. Um MJF, I've turned the corner on MJF. I used to not like MJF at all. Like especially after what happened last year or when was that? Yeah, I think it was last year. Uh when he ranted and left for like months. I didn't like him at that point because I just thought he was a crybaby, and he didn't. I wanted him to just leave the company, but he ended up proving me wrong. He ended up being probably like one of the best world champions that I've ever seen. Um, he's doing a really good job in the main event. As the world champion, he's doing a fantastic job. He has the fans eating out of all the palm of his hand. He made me a believer of him, of his wrestling, of his character, because he's now a babyface. But he still does his heel tactics, which is pretty interesting. But he does it on the people he's supposed to be doing it on to. He does it on the heels. Pretty cool. Pretty nice 180 for MJF. I really like his work. I'm a big fan of his work. I was a fan of his before, like when he was a heel, but he was very he needed some new material to work with. But now that he's like roles are reversed, it's cool to see the roles reversed with MJF. Something I never thought I would see is him being a babyface and him being a really good babyface. Um, Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart was pretty good. Julia is coming out and she's working really well, and her and Chris had a great match tonight. Uh, Julia is coming into her own as a wrestler because she used to be probably around Anna Jay level wrestler. Like she would be wrestling on Dark all the time, or just being a manager, managing the Varsity Blondes, and then she was a manager for the House of Black, but she was also still getting her matches in, and her gimmick works for her match style, which is good. Um, Chris, great TBS champion. I'm glad he's getting some getting a lengthy run with her title with the title. I think she's been champion for like 4 months, 3 months, something like that. It hasn't been that long. I don't remember what pay per view it was. I think it might have been. I think it was Revolution. So I think since what, May, so like 5 months or going on 5 months. Um, Not really much else to say. It's yeah, there was only one women's match on the show. Um, they should that's what AEW needs to work on now, is getting more women's matches on the shows. I get it. Uh, Pro wrestling is a man's sport. It's like there's more men in wrestling than women, but AEW still has a big roster of women, so you have to at least have two or three women's matches on the card. But the women need to bring it. They need to bring it as hard as the men do. That's the only thing. If the women brought it as hard as the men do, and if they put as much effort like into women's storylines, it goes both ways. It has to be women. It's the women and Tony Khan, or whoever, or it's mostly Tony Khan booking the women. Um, he's got to book them stronger. He's got to make compelling stories for the women, because if he doesn't, or he has to not make compelling stories, but he has to have them be in or make them compelling stories for like with them. That has to be something that needs to be done, because the women need the help. The women need the most help in AEW, because they have a really good roster of women, but the women almost get no time. And when they do get the time, they don't bring it as hard as they should.
Let's hear it for the newest member of the AEW roster, Mr.
Oh,
Adam Copeland. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me. So what's new?
there he is right there.
Sorry, I went for the obvious.
This is going to be excellent. Well, I'd like to begin by welcoming Adam to AEW, and I thought it was a great show tonight. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight at AEW WrestleDream. It was an amazing event. Thanks to all of you, and I'd like to announce Adam Copeland has officially signed with AEW.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't know
And something I'm really excited
like
about,
Edge was coming,
something
or
that
he was gonna
apart, and
end up coming to AEW. I had no idea until
Adam being here
he
is
showed up.
this is full time. Adam's going to be with us every week. He's going to wrestle. He's a full time part of the AEW roster. I think it's going to be a long time since anybody's seen Adam Copeland wrestle as much and at the level he's been in AEW. He's already been doing great stuff. He's wrestling at the highest level in recent years, but he's going to be
What
here
happened to the mic?
on
It's
a
like
weekly
going down.
basis, and it's something I'm so excited about because that's great news for us in AEW. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Part of coming here is that I wanted to contribute. Um, I wanted to help, and I just felt like here I'd really be able to do that and have the opportunity to do that. And I look at an entire fresh roster of faces and so many talent that I've never laid hands on before. And that to me, as a person who is driven by challenges, that for me was the biggest thing. Like I've never been in a ring with Samoa Joe. I've never stood in a ring with Sting before tonight.
That's crazy,
31 years in the
but it
industry,
makes
that's
sense.
never happened. And then I see a guy like Nick Wayne or I see Swerve. There's just so many possibilities here. And for me at this stage of my career, that is so enticing. That is so exciting. That is so, I said it out there after the fact when I came back out there tonight, I felt free. That's just the word I felt free and it felt fun. And I felt almost like the same feeling I would have when I'd come out for my indie shows, back when I was either Adam Impact or Sexton Hardcastle or something. And it was this brand new thing that I always wanted to do. And that feeling, I felt it out there tonight. And that at this stage of my career to feel that, that's special. That's, man, like, come on, 31 years in and to feel that way, that's a gift. And this is all I ever wanted to do. And this feels like an opportunity to come in and not just come in every 3 months. I can be there every week. I'm a full-time guy. And I want to do that for as long as that is possible because I feel like that's how I can help the most. And
I love when
more than
wrestling,
anything, that's
well,
what
when
I'm here to
wrestlers
do.
do this, they come to
Great
AEW,
news. And
they feel like they can
and
help,
even more
like
great
especially
news,
or as wrestlers
we're
that
going to
have been
hear
around.
from
I
Adam
love that.
Copeland, the Rated R Superstar, for
That's
the first time
the
ever
right
on
attitude
AEW
to
Dynamite
have.
this Wednesday night.
What CM
Give
Punk
way
did, he
to the
was all
Infinite
about
Era and to
himself,
celebrate the
which is
fourth
unfortunate.
anniversary
I love
of
CM
AEW
Punk
Dynamite. So
until
I'm really excited to
he
have
did
you
and said what he
this
said, and
Wednesday in
then
Stockton on Dynamite for
he
the
just
first time
lost
ever.
my
Yeah, I'll give the mission statement
lost
and
my
kind of
not
explain
respect, but he lost my
what happened tonight and
following,
what
I
my
guess.
thought process was there because there was a lot of different things going on emotionally out
You
there
have to
tonight.
come in
Hey,
wanting to
Keith,
help,
how you doing?
wanting to
Good to see
build
you. It's been a
AEW,
while.
help build
Um,
AEW bigger than it
yeah, man.
is.
Like if you can't tell, I'm pretty excited and I feel like a little kid again. And this is the best gig in the world. It really is. Yeah, I'm a kid from Southern Ontario, and this is all I ever wanted to do. And if you had told me that 98% of what would happen to me throughout
I
my
hope I don't
career would
get
happen,
banned for
I'd say
this. I
you're
shouldn't.
crazy.
It's
You would
on
throw this onto
YouTube.
the list
But AEW
and
likes
at the
to
top of the list now because my
copyright
God, it just
people and
man,
stuff.
I
I
can't
think it's
tell you
all
how
automated.
excited and even just so I'll tell you a story. Friday, I fly here Friday, right? And I call Darby and I'm like, hey Darby, you're a Seattle guy, right? So I want to get a muscle car. And do you got any cool sites that we could shoot? So we
Oh,
just
this is
went and
pretty
road
cool,
shot
actually.
Friday night from like 9 to midnight. And I'm hanging out of the back of an SUV holding the cameraman while this muscle car is going 50 miles an hour down Gum Alley. Was it Gum Alley? With all the gum, which was disgusting and awesome at the same time. And I'm just like, I'm hanging out of an
This
SUV
is pretty
holding the
cool.
camera,
Darby
and I'm
Darby
just
helped
happy
Edge film his
at
stuff. That's pretty
49
cool.
years old.
I'm gonna have
Like,
to start calling him
this is
Adam.
amazing. What are we doing? This is awesome. And again, back to that
And
word
this is what AEW
freedom.
does. They give the freedom
Sorry,
to the
I was throwing
wrestlers,
diarrhea.
and
It's great.
they
It's
they
great.
let the wrestlers
And
make
I love seeing you
themselves.
like this. I'm
It's
couldn't
not
be more
a
happy to be here.
here your
And
gimmick is
just
this.
jumping right into the
Go be
fire. Not
this
only are
because I
you
want you to be
going to
this.
be making your
They're
first
like,
ever
okay,
appearance
I'm
on
bringing you
Dynamite this
in.
Wednesday,
Be
but
whatever
then
you
the
want to be.
following
I
week,
love that
first of
freedom.
all, you're also coming to Collision, I believe, in Utah
Yes.
on the 7th. So he's working both shows this week. We're going to see uh, Adam Copeland, the Rated R Superstar, Wednesday night, Dynamite in Stockton for the first time ever, and we'll see him for the first time ever on Collision this Saturday. And then the following week, Dynamite is actually going to be on Tuesday, October 10th, for Title Tuesday. It's my birthday. It's going to be a great event. We're going to have a great time. I'm very excited about it. And I got the greatest birthday present in the world because the newest member of the AEW roster, the Rated R Superstar, Mr. Adam Copeland, has requested a match on October 10th in Kansas City.
Oh man,
And
next
we
week.
got a little preview of that action tonight on WrestleDream.
Who's it
Based
gonna
on the
be?
request, it's going to be Adam Copeland, the Rated R Superstar, versus Luchasaurus
Oh, okay.
on Tuesday, October 10th in Kansas City. And
All right.
Luchasaurus is a multiple-time champion, one of the toughest wrestlers in AEW. It's going to be a great debut match for you.
It'll
Nice.
be hard, but I will
New
say
matches
Luchasaurus is a
for
guy
for
that I
Adam.
always saw and saw so much potential in what he brings to the table. It's also kind of jumping into the deep end of the pool, but that's what I do.
Yeah, our Darby. Yeah.
So great.
Christian.
And we can take some questions, Mandy, if you want to.
When Christian had him up the first time when he was gonna throw him, he was looking at the steps, and I think he second guessed it. So he just stopped it. He just threw him on the ground, and then he picked them up on the floor and did it, which is not as much impact. So then I was like, okay, that works. That's fine. But I'm sure I'm like 100% sure Darby wanted to get thrown into the steps from that height. So he told Christian to redo it. So Christian went up and just he just threw him like he didn't want to do it, but he just threw him. And Christian and like Darby just yeah, he hit the steps really nasty.
That's really exciting to me. I've never faced
Darby, I really like Darby, John, and Eddie. Yeah, I love my favorites are Eddie,
there's so many different
Hangman, and Kenny. Those are probably my favorite three right currently.
That is
Hangman and Kenny have always been my favorites of AEW,
that's never happened.
but Eddie is my number three most likely.
There's a lot.
I love Sheeta too. Sheeta. I could probably replace Eddie with Sheeta,
myself with.
Depending on the day.
That's my entire life has been built on challenges. So
yeah, it was a fantastic pay per view
to
tonight.
Look at that. Oh God, a guy like me, that's a steak dinner waiting to be eaten.
Two more questions right here. Emily May with Sportskeeda Wrestling.
Hi.
So everyone was so excited, the
Let me
fan
turn this
reaction to have
down.
you debut tonight. And what I would love to know is how did these conversations begin, and what can we look forward to, not only perhaps in ring, but also will you be helping out backstage perhaps in developing AEW talent or creating storylines?
I've always been a person that enjoys that process in terms of being heavily involved in the creative process.
Yeah, I figured Nick Wayne was gonna turn because they've been like sprinkling crumbs for the last like month or so with Christian and Nick, and I had a feeling it was gonna happen eventually. And Darby, Darby was like putting Nick Wayne in certain situations, and Nick ended up getting hurt most of the time. So he probably was like, all right, Darby doesn't really care about me. I'm going to go side with Christian because Christian would probably take care of him better than Darby did. We'll see going forward how it turns out, but I have a feeling that's why Nick believes, oh, that's why he turned.
So much more intelligent. So you have to work to that intelligence.
Christian probably will be the father figure Nick Wayne wants
to be helping out whoever wants help.
I have a feeling that's going to be the direction they go.
Open book. And my 31
And I'm sorry if I'm talking like
want to tap into that, always. I'm a phone call, I'm a text.
I know wrestling, so
face away. That's always
pretty knowledgeable.
So there were.
But I love the inner workings of pro wrestling. I love it. I love thinking.
Promos.
I love overthinking. I love
so that's
thinking too much when it comes to wrestling.
I bring to the table
or looking into things more.
And honestly, that was one of the really pivotal things, beside my daughter telling me that I should go be with Uncle Jay and have fun. That I thought I could really try and help here. And in turn, that helps the entire wrestling industry which is the thing that I just love. Second behind my wife and my kids.
Darby's finisher is
Need a
pretty
few
cool.
more, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I'm on a roll.
Yeah, he's on
Yeah,
fire.
Darby's coffin drop is pretty good. I like his Last Supper too. His
Oh,
little
yeah.
pin.
Keith
I like
Elliott
that too.
Greenberg with Inside the Ropes
He
magazine.
wins a lot with
You
that.
mentioned that you were here Friday night. Now, there's a lot of people in this room who I think, had there been an Adam Copeland sighting, they would not have been able to contain themselves from tweeting about it. How did you manage to keep yourself scarce?
Oh man, I was sequestered. I sequestered myself in a hotel room. So I mean, we were in some sketchy neighborhoods. Like Darby took us to some sketchy places. Like ain't nobody here gonna worry about like Adam Copeland being here, kind of thing, right? So nobody saw us, and then I went to my hotel room and I just like sneak out to get food. And this one kid, bless his heart, I'm at this burger joint and I just really wanted a cheeseburger because I hadn't eaten for 14 hours. And I was like, I just want to get a cheeseburger. So I'm in there and I'm sitting there, I'm reading my book because I bring a book everywhere when I eat. And I looked up and he went, oh, and that was it. That was the only time that I had that encounter because the rest of the time I was like, hoodie and all that.
That's funny.
Um, so yeah, that's what happened. I was out in Redmond.
That's great.
Hi, my name's Amanda from
Hi.
WrestleTalk.com.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. You sound excited.
I am. So I've been authorized to ask this question. I'm not asking anything about contracts or anything of the like, but my favorite version of Adam Copeland is when he's with his lovely wife. Is there any chance that we might see you together
Oh,
here?
Beth.
Or is that something that you'd like to do in the future again?
I mean, anytime I get to be close to Beth, obviously I'm gonna.
I was like, who's she talking about? Who's his
super
wife?
excited
I
about
forgot it was
I
Beth
don't know
Phoenix.
about the possibilities of that in the foreseeable, but I, I love being around her, obviously, and we've had a blast when we did get to work together. Um, but where she will be instrumental without anyone knowing it is she's my sounding board. So if you've seen me do something or you see something that you think worked, it was always bounced off Beth, and then she always gives me better ideas back. It's kind of amazing to be married to a Hall of Famer. It's pretty cool. Who can suplex you?
That's great. Maybe one more.
I've never seen Edge like this, man. He's very like,
Hose, man.
like not emotional, but he's
Kevin
very
Mears with Defy Wrestling.
what is the word?
So the song that you came out to,
Like
tonight,
he's
iconic
showing a
song.
lot of like happiness. I've never seen
Why was
that.
it important for you to come out to that as opposed to a new theme?
It's very real.
Was it difficult
I love it.
to secure that? Do you own the rights to that, etc.?
So Alter Bridge are my friends. Mark Tremonti, who wrote the song, is a very good friend. So that song's with me wherever I go, and that was very important to me.
That's good.
To me, I've always been very musically motivated, and I think it sets the tone for a character, and
Yes.
it also sets the tone for Adam to get in that place. And that music, from the first time I heard it in Mark's house, after I dropped a beer in his foyer, after just meeting him, uh, he played that for me with his scratch lyrics on it. And I was out with a neck injury. I was like, "Can I have that song?" He was like, "Absolutely, dude." And we just met. And 20 years later, here we are. And I called Mark and I said, "Hey, what do you think?" He goes, "Absolutely. Absolutely, dude. That answer is not going to change." And that was really, really pivotal, important to me.
That's
'Cause
pretty
it
cool.
would have felt weird coming out to something else.
That's pretty cool. I was very caught off guard when he came out to
Thanks,
Metalingus,
everybody.
and it's not a WWE owned theme. Obviously, it's an Alter Bridge theme,
Thank you again, Adam.
which they let WWE use for years. So him coming out to that in AEW felt a little weird, but it was very
Start
welcoming.
to the day.
It was very.
And at Wembley
It was
Stadium,
new. It was a new
So
experience, but at the same
we've had a
time, it was
great
the same
start to the
old
Scrum.
experience. But it's in a new company.
And now we'll have several other great top stars from AEW joining us, but it was great to be joined for the first time ever by the newest member of the AEW roster, the Rated R superstar, Adam Copeland. It's a great pay-per-view tonight, WrestleDream, and it got off to a great start, I thought, and just kept going. I thought we never slowed down. It's one of my favorite events, and as I said, we were off to a great start, and it started with
AEW, I don't think there's
amazing
been a
tag
single
team title defense from
pro
the great
wrestling
champion. Here he is.
pro wrestling company that has had as many great shows as they have pay-per-views.
Very heavy. Okay. That's
It's
what I'm doing with
crazy. It's
Okay.
insane. I don't think like a
I
string,
wanna
and not even a
say
string, like
something very
in general.
quickly, very quickly.
MJF coming up, babyface
Let's have a
like,
conversation.
not cursing and yelling all
You
the time.
said that the match was incredible, but it was a gimmick match, and I would like to. No, no, no. I didn't tell you to speak. Very quickly, here's what I'm going to say. I feel professional wrestling for an incredibly long time went south, in my opinion. I think people decided that they needed to absolutely murder themselves or their opponents, not even considering trying to get a win. All they were considering was trying to get a cheap pop or a cheap reaction. What I'm trying to do is bring back a flavor of ice cream that I love and dare I say is just as much professional wrestling as most certainly is not a gimmick. And that is to make people so emotionally invested in the person that is inside the squared circle that if they hit a body slam
I love
or a
MJ.
headlock takeover, they can't
I
believe it
completely
because
turned the
it's just
corner
as
on
loud
this
of a
guy. I love him.
reaction as Darby Allin getting thrown onto the steel stairs, which was the most insane thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I am not faulting you. You're a good man, Charlie Brown. All I am simply saying is nothing I do is a gimmick. I believe that professional wrestling in all shapes and sizes is important, and it's all different flavors of ice cream. But I also believe, to me, from my 2 cents, if you can do what I do and get that reaction, I think it's much harder actually than doing a triple indie, whatever the fuck. Obviously, they're going to clap. It's insane. Can you make them absolutely freak out and have a damn near panic attack when you do little to nothing? To me, that is professional wrestling. And
Yep.
everybody's thoughts on what pro wrestling is different. And I am really, 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 really proud of all the flavors of ice cream that we showed on tonight's card. I think this is quite possibly one of, if not the best pay per views we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
And what's absolutely insane is, first of all, beyond proud that I get to say that I'm the AEW World Champion. There's no grandest prize in the sport. But to be able to say that and be the top dog when this roster is, quite frankly, an embarrassment of riches is insane. It was absolutely insane the amount of just in listen. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm a company guy, but what I will say is I'm a pro wrestler, and I care about pro wrestling, and I'm definitely pro wrestlers first kind of guy. And I feel like AEW as a locker room has never been healthier, never been better, never been more talented, never been more driven, and never been more hungry. And like I said, I'm proud to be a leader of that.
It's awesome.
Your favorite Darby move is when he runs and jumps. Oh yes, 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 yes.
Everybody
I
told
love
him I
that
was
move.
gonna
That's
be a
probably
winner.
one of my favorite moves of
Wait.
all time in wrestling. Because he is only because of him. Because he just runs at you and hits you like a dart, not even like a bullet.
Well, listen, man. Once you
And he's
lose
the
weight,
only person I've ever
what is
seen do a suicide dive like that. Like
How much
he
fun are you
like he
having
puts
now that
everything, not even
you've
everything.
gone
He puts
away from
everything and then some
the
into his
cool
like
guy and
into
actually
his
seeming like you're
like motion.
Hold on, Tony. Jeez, Louise.
What did he just say? I don't even hear what he just said.
You know, uh, I honestly don't think the messed up thing is I really haven't changed at all. I think what has occurred is just a shift in general public opinion on who I am. Before I was a scumbag, now I'm their scumbag.
He looks completely different from like
And
what he
I'm still
used to
getting used
look
to
like.
that.
Now he
You
looks
know,
a lot more
pretty much
happy for
everything
some
that
reason.
I do in that squared circle is to get a win. And when I used to do a lot of the things that I did here tonight, it normally would get boos that would drown out like my own like brain function and like my ears would bleed. And now I am getting just as loud
Yeah,
as
he's
that. So my ears are
definitely a
still bleeding,
daredevil.
but on
He's evil
opposite
Knievel.
end of the spectrum. Am I having fun? I'm learning to have fun with it. I struggle with accepting. This is going to sound a little hokey, but I struggle with accepting love. I honestly always have. I've gotten screwed over so many times in my life,
What's the camera
so many
person
different
doing?
ways by so many different people. I can sit here for an hour and explain all of the horrible things that have happened to me in the short period of time I've been on this earth.
But if there's one thing that I learned honestly from Adam Cole, it's that I can
Oh
start.
yeah, there's
over
another
again,
Adam in
and
AEW.
I am the
I think it was
biggest
like the
narcissist
5th
you'll ever
Adam.
meet, and I own
Adam
that.
Page,
So when I hear people
Adam
chant my name,
Copeland,
it
Adam
really
Cole.
gets me chubbed up. So I'm having a blast.
Who else?
Yeah.
Maybe third.
Got a few more questions.
Hi, Kate from Fightful.
Hello, Kate.
Congratulations on your title defense today.
Thank
Titles
you.
defense today.
Yeah, right? Shit.
This is sincerely the most in ring that we've seen you over this stretch. I just was wondering kind of how that feels to be.
My body hurts.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I am not used to wrestling this much. Frankly, he knows I hate wrestling this much. But
I'm glad MJF's wrestling a lot.
It does numbers. It helps.
He's great.
You
He's
know, it helps
fantastic.
Adam, most importantly, I know how important these tag titles were to him. If it weren't for Adam,
He
you know,
understands
Tony, not that I really care.
pro
I most
wrestling
certainly
more
would have
than
been in
most
Seattle
people.
tonight.
Probably
I'd
older than
rather
him,
just had my feet up and watched
and who's
it
been in the
now.
business longer.
And
It's
boy, would
crazy.
I have had a fun time watching it because the show was insane. Holy shit, the show was fucking insane. I don't think there was one match that missed tonight. It was crazy. But yeah, to answer your question, you know, I'm just starting to get over my neck injury. My back's kind of all gross and cracky right now. But I wear that all with a badge of honor because I know I'm doing it for my boy. So I'm cool with it.
Hi, I'm Mark Qureshi, Real Take Wrestling. So, going from one Adam to another, tonight, Adam Copeland made his AEW debut.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, and is he someone you're looking forward to facing in the ring?
I think he's another guy that's coming into my company that wants my spot, and he's got another fucking thing coming if he thinks he's going to take it. Great sign, though. Good job, Tony. I'm proud of you. No, but in all sincerity, first ballot Hall of Famer, incredible professional wrestler.
But he is a Hall of Famer.
I don't care. I'm just going to say it. I think bell to bell.
I think a lot of people forget Edge is in the Hall of Fame.
Like one of the best
He went in
wrestlers
after he
ever
retired.
It's
The first time.
It's fucking insane. Holy shit. MJF, Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, John Moxley,
Danielson.
Ospreay, when he's around, British schmuck. Darby Allin, Christian Cage, Edge, Malachi Black,
Whoa.
Adam Copeland, Malachi Black.
Wait, what? Why did?
Miro, Will Hobbs, Ricky Starks, Claudio Castagnoli, Eddie Kingston.
He's naming everybody.
I mean, and I'm not even naming it. It's
Yeah.
messed up.
Yes.
It's messed up.
The insane. The
And,
AEW has the most
I'm
insane
glad to be at the
roster
top
I've ever
of
seen in a
the
wrestling company.
So,
And it's
all
all
right.
people
Thank you very
that
much,
are
guys.
in their prime. TNA had a lot of like back in the day, like around 05 to like 08, their roster was incredible, but there was a lot of people that weren't in their prime yet. Like AJ Styles. AJ Styles, AJ Styles has been in his prime for the last like 20 years, so I guess that's not really fair. But a lot of people like the X Division guys and stuff, they had it, but they didn't have it at the time.
And we just had the
But TNA had an
AEW
incredible
World
roster too, but
Champion.
AW has,
Also the Ring of Honor World Tag Team.
I don't think any
Champion,
other roster
Golden.
compares
And
ever
speaking of
in
AEW
wrestling
World
history.
Champions,
At least in
we're
terms of
gonna be
American
joined
wrestling
by
TV.
two former AEW World Champions, two of the greatest wrestlers in the world, the Golden Jets.
Oh, Kenny and Jericho? I'm surprised they're on here because they lost.
So,
Is this
Kenny
Kenny's
and I
like
for a
first
while
scrum? I don't think he's ever been on a scrum
maybe
before.
at some point teaming up. So I copyrighted a name just in case you want to use it, which is the Golden Jets. I'm sure you read about it. Somebody stooges off anything I copyright. The Golden Jets is obviously a take on the Golden Lovers, but also the Golden Jet is Bobby Hull, the greatest Winnipeg Jet of all time. Of course, we're from Winnipeg. So if you see the Golden Jets at some point, that's the reason why.
That's awesome. It was a great match.
Kenny's
tonight.
just going with Jericho's crazy
We've got
antics.
questions now. Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega.
Hi, Kate from
Crazy
Fightful.
ideas.
Congratulations on such a successful show tonight, and happy birthday, Tony. By the way.
Oh no! It's we got a couple weeks. It's Title Tuesday.
Oh, title. We got
10.
time. So.
But he's got a birthday this month too.
His birthday's on 10/10. That's
Oh,
Bound for
well, we're
Glory.
having
One of their shows are on 10/10. I think it's
well, we're
2010,
having
10, 10, 10 or
such
something like that.
ties to New Japan. I just wanted your thoughts on being able to foster such a successful show tonight and what it meant to do an Antonio Inoki tribute show on the anniversary of his passing.
Chris, if you will. Well, the times that I met Inoki, he tried to hypnotize me. And I was told just to go with it because that was his thing that he was going through at the time. So you had to pretend like you like
Kenny looks so uncomfortable. What is going
I am
on?
a dog. I am a ghost, whatever. But Onoki, obviously a huge legend, and I think it was a great idea that Tony had to do this pay-per-view tonight. Great show. One of our all of our pay-per-views are always so great, but I thought tonight's was
Yes.
really amazing, and I like the fact that like it was an Inoki themed honoring show, but it wasn't like the same as
Like Forbidden Door.
like
It was very
Forbidden Door. It
different.
was different from that. So I just thought it was great, and obviously a great finish. I thought we had a great match. I think it's been a great couple days for Kenny and I to kind of tell the story that we're starting to get into now. So I really enjoyed it all across the board.
I appreciate all y'all
I
for
felt
stopping by.
really nice to have full
Feel
representation.
free
not
to
only our
chat with me
style
about the show if
and
y'all
our style
want.
on AEW, but they saw a real smorgasbord of all wrestling styles. I mean, there was definitely a vast difference in stylistically between what Brian Danielson did with Zack Sabre Jr. to what we did in our match, and then what they did in the
All
main event
matches
as
were
well.
different.
So I always felt like
None of them were systematically
ideally, if
the
we
same.
can run a variety pro
None of them.
wrestling show where everything is entertaining, but everything is different, then there will probably be more people leaving the show satisfied than not. So for us to do what we did today with a lot of international superstars and all for the memory of Antonio Inoki, who's very culturally significant to Japanese culture and even the wrestling culture, it felt like just such a great success. So I was glad to be a part of it.
Hi guys, I'm Mark Hoke Show in 1015 Las Vegas. Guys, Adam Copeland shows up tonight, and a few years ago,
Another
you guys
Canadian.
took a chance on AEW, and now you see him come in here as well. What are you thinking about the roster?
Let's not
and
hope.
seeing
Let's hope it's
him?
not another
I
certain
mean, I always
situation.
love seeing a big name like Adam coming to AEW because if you look, I mean, the three of us at this table have been here since day one. Prior to day one, we made day one happen. So, and it was such a big risk because no one knew what AEW was going to be. We didn't have TV at the time.
No.
We had no idea, but we thought we wanted to take a chance because we believed in what Tony was believing in and what we could do. And so I think after the first couple of years, especially when the pandemic was over, to see all the names that came in, it's like we paved the way and let people know it's safe to come here and it's great to come here.
Jericho has a
And I've known
bad
Adam
pen.
since 1995. Like he loves wrestling. And sometimes in other places, that love of wrestling kind of gets squashed and warped a bit, maybe. It's not like that here in AEW. And I think once again, like when some of the other guys came, like FTR and Adam Cole and those types of guys, they couldn't believe just the difference and just the whole vibe of what we have here. And I think just talking with Adam and seeing him come out of the ring, he's super stoked and super excited and super motivated. And when you're motivated, that's when great wrestlers become even better and even more legendary. And he's already a great wrestler. Like Max said, he's a first round Hall of Famer. But now that he's motivated again, like I think we're going to see maybe some of the best work Adam Copeland's ever done now here in AEW.
Well, I think
I'm ready for it.
to be fair, Kenny didn't get
I mean,
to
I can speak towards it, but what I would say, I mean, just as someone who grew up watching Edge on different programming, it's really cool to see someone come into our locker room with such a positive, just his demeanor was incredible backstage, and you can.
I got to see the first meeting between Kenny Omega and Adam
Yeah.
Copeland tonight. It was very cool.
Right, and for us younger guys who maybe haven't had experience over in WWE, to meet him for the first time and see that someone who is here very much motivated, willing to contribute and to put their best foot forward, and to probably do something that he has not done yet in his career. So he's stepping out of his comfort zone. He's willing to do things that he's never done before, and he's willing to do it with us and with a bunch of young guys, some guys that again that he's known in his past, like Chris Jericho. But people like myself or MJF or people that he's never known or never met in person. Um, so I can imagine that it's probably a very exciting time for him, and most importantly, it's exciting for the fans. So I really love that there's this variation where now you're going to see all these fresh matchups and potential feuds and angles from here on in with Adam Copeland. So it's exciting time for all of us in the locker room, but also exciting for the fans, and that's the part that makes me the most happy.
Well said, Kenny.
Lyrics Monthly Peer. So, Chris Jericho, you have appeared this year in PWG, Rev Pro, and it was recently announced that you will be going to DDT to face Konosuke Takeshita. Can you talk a little bit about this crazy run of going places that you've never been before? And for Kenny, I know that earlier this year you faced Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom, and obviously you lost him at Forbidden Door. So can we expect to see you back in New Japan, or possibly making a return to DDT at any time?
I can start if you. Sure,
Well,
up to you. Go for it.
to me, like I think since AEW started, like I had kind of a pact with myself that I wouldn't work anywhere other than for Vince. And then when the New Japan opportunity to work with Kenny came up, that was like a whole new world. And then when we started AEW with Tony, then suddenly like there's so many cool places to go and work. I've never been to PWG, and I always kind of thought, what is it all about? And it was just the perfect night with Danny Garcia bringing the Jericho Appreciation Society in there. Great surprise for the fans. Attacking Osprey in London at Rev Pro, great surprise for the fans. Um, Lights go out when Takeshita's in the ring at Korakuen Hall last week, and Jericho video comes up. It's a surprise for the fans. I like doing cool things that keep people um, excited about what I'm doing and keep people entertained, and doing things that nobody else expects. I've kind of really made a name for that. So yeah, I'm excited to work with DDT. Tony obviously gave me his blessing. I want to go back to Japan. I mean, Kenny and I had such a great run in New Japan. Between the two of us, we headlined 3 Tokyo Domes 3 years in a row. He did 2, I did 2, and we and I missed that. The pandemic kind of screwed that up. So I'm really excited to go back to Japan. I mean, my first tour, I was 20 years old, 1991. So anytime I get a chance to go there, especially against a talent like Konosuke Takeshita, one of our greatest wrestlers here in AEW right now. So to be in his home turf, so to speak, with a new company, and I've been to the Sumo Arena probably, I don't know, 3 dozen times at this point, but I'm really looking forward to that as well.
Speaking of Takeshita and big matches, we spoke earlier before I came in here. You requested a match for this Wednesday in Stockton, California, coming out of tonight, and it sounds like a great match. So
They're in California this week?
And it's going to be Chris Jericho
Yes,
and
they
Kenny
are.
Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita and Sammy Guevara.
Oh, a
this
tag team.
Wednesday
I thought it was
Night
going to be
Dynamite.
Jericho
I
versus
thought
Takeshita.
The match tonight was excellent, and I look forward to a great tag team match this Wednesday to celebrate the 4-year anniversary of Wednesday Night Dynamite. Very fitting.
Interesting. Kenny looks so tired. What is going on?
Who are on opposite sides,
But
and you and Sammy, of course, aligned that night on the first episode, and here we are. You two are together.
He just looks so out of place. I don't know.
AEW standing opposite you, and Sammy Guevara, someone you brought into AEW standing opposite you.
True,
And it's a bitter rivalry. Should be a great match to celebrate 4 years of Dynamite.
That's going to be
a
a good match.
every step of the way.
Yeah, I'm excited for that match, and I do think it's fitting as well. I really feel that we've got something special here, Chris. The chemistry we have between one another, and I never would have thought.
It's weird. Kenny and Jericho they do have like
the
really
greatest
good
match
chemistry
would be standing opposite from you, but it seems that
as a
when we're
tag
on the
team.
same side, we've got some sort of je ne sais quoi.
Winnipeg, man.
Yeah,
You
that's
can't
got to
grow
be
up in
what it
Winnipeg
is.
in the
Yeah.
ice and snow and not have some sort of a connection.
That's right. But to answer your question, Japan, of course, is like a second home to me. So there's always like it's a feeling of like longing when I haven't been there for a long time. I try to get out when I can, and I try to have some sort of business connection to it as much as I can. Of course, I still have friends there, people that I regard almost as like distant family members. And my time in New Japan too, it was some of the greatest moments of my life, and some of the most proudest work of my life. And like Chris had said, between the two of us, I think we did 3 Tokyo Dome main events each in a span of 3 years, or 3 or 4 years it was. So The match catalog is there. It's work that I can always look back at fondly, relationships and stuff that I can look back as very fond memories. And I've luckily been able to bring some of that back here to AEW, and I'm glad we can see Ibushi here. I'm glad that now that AEW is its own sort of existence, I'm able to go back not only for New Japan, but there are opportunities as well, just like Chris, to go back to DDT. Again, that's the first promotion that took a chance on me, and that was the first place to accept me as me, and they allowed me the conduit for my own creative freedom and to kind of design and create this Kenny Omega character, which then evolved into the Cleaner, which then evolved into the Best Bout Machine and all that sort of stuff. So I mean, it was a great starting block to really build on myself. And then again, when it was time to see, when it felt like I had sort of grown, when I felt that there was stones left unturned, when it was time to take a chance again on myself, it allowed me to build up the confidence to really believe in myself and in Tony and in Chris and in AEW. And thus, we've created something pretty wonderful that people, again, like Adam Copeland, believes in as well. So, again, I'm very proud of my time there, but I'm also proud that it was able to lead into something that I'm very proud of here. So, will I be willing to go back? Do I hope to go back? Of course, all the time, every year. But first and foremost, I'm really trying to do what I can for the incredible athletes and superstars that are here in AEW today.
Nick
Yeah.
Hart from bodyslam.net. I was curious about when it comes to Ibushi. There was a long time where you guys weren't able to wrestle together.
Yeah.
And I feel like every interview with you guys, people were asking about them. So now that you've wrestled with him a couple times, I just want to get your thoughts on how that's been and if we can expect to see more of him in AEW.
I believe it's definitely a safe bet to say he will be back. Ibushi and I, we've really gone through the ringer. We've been tossed into the meat grinder. Part of the reason why I was really motivated to go to DDT in the first place was because of Kota Ibushi. I really felt attracted to his style, and I'd really felt attracted to his outlook on professional wrestling. So
Yeah, I
we've
bet
really
Kenny.
done everything that we could to just leave it all out there, and we've broken ourselves over and over and over and over and over again just to build ourselves back up, to break each other down again. So I really feel like when there was no one else around us in our pursuit of our own personal best, we were each other's shoulders to cry on, and it really means a lot that now, after all this time apart, that we can, in our current old man broken states, that we can still be there to support each other.
Kenny, you're not even 40 yet.
And then still be able to go in front of
Kenny's like 38.
in front of with people like
I'm
Chris,
sure I'm sure
as our partner, and
his body is
make it a little
banged
more
up.
magic. Yeah,
I'm
He had a
sure.
great time tonight. He kept saying
Unfortunately.
thank you during the match. Thank you. You like? Okay. Yeah, man. We're only 10 minutes in.
So so I mean, I feel like it's just, we're making up for a lot of lost time, and but it's just great that not only the friendship, of course, and the relationship, the personal relationship will never die. That won't be a thing. But to be in a professional environment with him again is it's just great. And I love being able to travel on the road with him again and train with him again and all that sort of stuff. It's wonderful. So I think it's probably safe to say he'll be back. Yes. Yes. Great.
Very safe. Very
Great.
safe.
Yeah.
Thanks to you.
The other day, the Don Callis and
Kevin Gibbs with
Konosuke
Defy
Takeshita
Wrestling.
promo from
So I
Japan.
had a question for both Chris and
There was a
Kenny.
fan that took a picture of the
We've
cameraman
seen
who was
Monday
recording
talking
that
about
promo,
how there was an
and it was
embarrassment
Kenny.
of riches with this insanely stacked roster. We just
I didn't
saw
know
we were
who
seeing
it
the
could
rise
have
of
been.
Swerve right
Honestly,
now.
I didn't
Those
think
people
to
are really rising
know
up.
who it could have been
And
that was recording them,
if
but it was
each of
Kenny.
you could maybe pinpoint one
And most
wrestler
likely,
that,
most
might
likely
not
he
be in the title
recorded
shots these
the
days,
beat
but
down
when
on
you
Ibushi
are
too.
taking them under your wing, or you
But the
just have a
cameraman
crush on
doesn't.
them, who's one wrestler in the locker
He
room
doesn't
that you
exist.
think has a bright future?
I mean, I think there's so many wrestlers that have a bright future. That's one of the things that we concentrated on from day one, was building as many homegrown AEW stars as we could, because you couldn't just have Chris Jericho do it every night, or Kenny Omega. And I think we've done such a great job. Look at tonight, Darby Allin in the main event. It's the same reason why the Inner Circle was started and why the Jericho Appreciation Society was started. And we've got stories going with a lot of these guys. I think if I have to pick one, I think one of the guys we're going to be focusing on that's going to be part of some of the stories upcoming is Danny Garcia. I think he's got something very special. I didn't know at first anything really about him. And when Tony and I put together the JAS, I was like, all right, well, the story dictates it.
Jericho kind of threw away the
As we started
JAS.
working, yeah, fuck, he's good, man. He's another
It's
guy who's
like
only 22 or 23. And wrestling is fine.
weird.
You guys know my opinion on matches.
The inner circle didn't really happen that way. The inner circle like
business,
was made basically into the JAS because they kept
that's what
Sammy and
wrestling is,
Jake Hager,
and he's got that. So I'm really looking
and
forward
then
to expanding his role here in AEW
Proud and
in the best
Powerful
possible way with the stories
left.
that we're telling.
Yeah, I mean, it's
But the JAS
without
kind of
Big
just
Big Swerve's name
stopped
is the first name
because Jericho,
along
like,
with
he
the
had his own
incredible
stuff to
talent
deal with,
performers that we have backstage.
and Jericho's like, all right,
I've
I'm
always been
done
a
with
huge
the
Swerve
JAS,
fan,
and the
I
JAS
remember
like
making a point
they didn't
after many
have anywhere to go,
performances to kinda
so they
even tell
just
Joey,
left him,
like, dude, like,
and they haven't really been
what you
doing
did out
much
there
on
was really
TV at
incredible
all.
tonight. Like, I don't know if you need to hear from me. Like, it's probably not. Don't feel free to not paying attention to me. He says, but if it doesn't mean anything, like I think you're great, and I really hope that we can do something at some point down the line in the future. And you know, he's just again a real humble dude. Always
Who's he
willing to
talking
do
about?
what's right. He's got a great attitude, and clearly, if you saw his performance today and seen his performances lately, he's a guy that works very, very hard. You'll never feel like you've been slighted or you never got your money's worth.
He
And
knows
again,
who he is as a character.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. And I mean, like there
I don't know
are
who he's talking
several
about. What do you?
talents
I don't remember.
who understand the business and will always do what's asked of them, no questions asked. And there are guys like, you know, Butcher Blade, Kip Sabian, who show up every single week and they're doing the right thing. And when they have their entrance and they come out, I see like these guys look like wrestlers, these guys look like ass kickers, and then they go out and maybe they won't win, you know, maybe they won't, but they understand how the business works, how it operates, and they're always the guys that we can count on. We have an incredible roster of people we can count on. And again, as a huge
Yeah, Butcher
fan of
Blade and
women's
Kip
wrestling, of
Sabian
course,
should get
anytime the women
more
can
high
show out,
profile matches.
I'm super happy for it. Like
Hopefully they
recently,
can be
seeing Julia really step into
hopefully they
her
can
own,
get going
she's
face
looking
the Acclaim for
incredible.
the
She's
trios
performing
titles.
incredibly well.
That could be pretty cool.
Feeling more comfortable in her own skin. The character work has been impeccable. Looks more comfortable in the ring too. So when I see things like that, it just brings a smile to my face. I mean, I'd love to see, you know, more people like that get more time and to be able to show what they can do, because the roster that we've assembled, every single one of them, if given the opportunity, can steal the show. And I think you're going to be surprised with a lot of people moving forward. Like you said, it's not always going to be the Chris Jericho show, the Kenny Omega show, the Daniel Bryan show, Bryan Danielson show.
Thank you.
It definitely won't be the Daniel Bryan one. Ever. Probably. The Bryan Danielson one it will be. But like you said, Darby Allin in the main event. And the thing is, no one looks at that card and goes, why is Darby in the main event?
Kitty
No, they
said
can't.
two WWE
One of our
names
athletes
tonight.
main event a card, and it's not going to look out of place. And I'm happy to be the guy that can help show people what they're capable
He's
of.
showing
In fact,
his.
I've taken a lot of pride.
He's showing his
because
his true colors.
I think maybe even the rest
But he's
of
not
us
wearing black or
sometimes
white.
don't want
He's
to
wearing red
admit
though.
their own
Oh yeah,
potential.
he is wearing black, white, and red.
But
That's
if
the
you
WWE
force
logo
someone, forcing the
colors.
spotlight on them, they have no choice but to take the ball and run with it. And I think every single one of our guys are very capable of it, and I'm willing to back that statement 100,000%. I think no matter who's in the main event, no matter who works with who, there's definitely potential for an incredibly interesting story and a lot of matchmaking opportunities. And again, as pay-per-views go on and as the shows go on, we're just seeing more and more added to the roster, and more potential interesting matches and dream matches to erupt from it. Again, I mean, everyone probably already kind of creating their dream match list for Adam Copeland, which is great. I love seeing that, and I love people, you know, having friendly conversations with each other as to what would you like to see this person do, what would you like to see this person do next, or who would you like to see step into the spotlight next. This is all great, and I love that no two answers are ever really going to be the same, and I think that's it's one of the biggest positives to a roster, but also it's 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 tough too, because you can't always see everyone that you like. But we're always going to do our best to show what we're made of, and I just feel like you haven't really you haven't really seen anything yet. There's no way our product can ever really get stale, because as soon as one person has steps out of the spotlight, or has to, unfortunately injuries happen, or life happens. We have someone who's ready, willing, and able to step right into that spot, and they're going to nail a home run. That's one of the greatest parts of being in AEW, and one of the greatest parts of when I'm not performing, to be able to sit and watch the monitor and go, these guys are killing it. And that's how I feel when I watch every pay-per-view. Just our pay-per-views are so fun to watch, and I feel that as a fan, even when I'm on the show, I try to watch as much as possible. And maybe I should be focusing more on what we need to do in the ring. Maybe that explains my win-loss record lately. But yeah, no, it's great. It's great to not only
Yeah, Kenny's lost
be able to
too many
contribute,
matches
but to be able to
this
be a
year,
fan again in our locker room.
but he's helping and he's wanting to do better for
I'd
his
like
company.
to thank you
So
both, and I'm excited for your match this Wednesday at the 4th anniversary of Dynamite. We're going to celebrate 4 great years thanks to both of you.
Looking forward to it. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you, buddy? Yeah. Thank you, man.
Is it cold down there? Uh-oh. Can we get you guys some coffee or something? You be cold down there? Okay, good. Well, we'll try to heat things up now. Well, that was a great to hear from Mr. Jericho and Mr. Omega from the first ever AEW Dynamite main event to the 4-year anniversary. And speaking of main events, the winner of tonight's WrestleDream main event.
Oh,
Here is
Christian.
the TNT champion, Mr. Christian Cage.
I didn't expect Christian. Edge was already on, or Adam was already on. It's weird calling him Adam. I don't want to call him Copeland though.
I know how good I am.
I don't really call Adam Cole Adam. I usually call him Cole, and I don't call Adam Page Adam Page. I call him Hangman.
Can I go then?
So I guess I can call Edge Adam.
Hi, Mark Hope with the
He's the only one I'll call Adam.
Gate on Las
'Cause
Vegas.
he doesn't have a.
Your old
I'm not gonna
friend
say
Joe.
rated R superstar.
What were you thinking? I said this in the last Scrum. I don't have any friends other than Luchasaurus. I was surprised to see him. Yes.
He cleaned up pretty nice.
Did I care? Not really. Doesn't change anything for me. I'm still the face of TNT. I'm still the TNT champion. I'm still the man to beat in AEW. You understand that, right? That a few short months ago, people were saying this title meant nothing.
I love Christian. I've loved him
taken
for the
it,
last
and
20
I
years.
main evented WrestleDream tonight.
I'm glad he's
I
in
made this
AEW,
title.
man. He is probably the
This
most
title,
underrated
in
talent
my opinion,
until
is
he
more
got to
prestigious than the
AEW.
world title.
When he was in TNA, he wasn't
Mainly
underrated
because
at
I
all.
carry it.
He was in the spot he
But I
should have
think my
been.
track record speaks for itself, and I think you have to give me my flowers now. Do you not?
And he won in the main event of a pay-per-view. It's crazy.
It's Brian from the Wrestling Observer. When did you
Great, like talking to Marks.
when did you first see Nick Wayne wrestle? And what were your thoughts when you saw that first match?
I've never seen Nick Wayne wrestle.
Never.
Do you wrestle?
Thank you.
Do you wrestle?
No.
You don't wrestle.
I did back in the day.
I'm sure you sucked, which is why you're here asking me questions.
I wrestled his father.
But what did you give a star rating tonight? Did you give me
I
a
did
really
not
cool
give a star rating. I did not give a star rating.
So what's the question again?
I was wondering what you thought when you first saw Nick Wayne wrestle. But you said you never saw him.
I've never
wrestle.
seen him wrestle.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I know he's a good boy though.
He is a good boy.
He was a little bit lost,
Yeah.
but he found his way tonight. And I will guide him to greatness. I will groom him to take over one
Groom
day
him?
everything that's mine. Nick is a fine boy. I see a lot of potential in him. I didn't need to see him wrestle to know how good he is, to know his potential.
I love Christian.
Wise beyond his years. Young Nick Wayne.
Christian, oh my god, he's fantastic, man.
JC from Happy Sports. Christian, you just said that you were going to mold.
He's so serious
Wayne.
too.
Is it more on the other end? Are you brainwashing Nick Wayne?
Brainwashing. I'm just telling Nick the truth.
I feel he would have laughed so
He knows the
bad.
truth when he hears it. I'm champion. I'm sitting here as the man in AEW. I'm the most talked about wrestler in this company.
He's
Why
true.
would Nick Wayne not
That's true.
want my guidance? Do you have an answer for that? You didn't answer my question. You didn't answer my question. You're just telling me an opinion. Okay. Anybody have an intelligent question?
Hi, Omar Q from Real Take Wrestling.
Oh my gosh, that was
It's
funny.
always interesting to me.
Wait, what was it?
Omar Q from Real Take Wrestling. Okay. Sorry. It's always interesting to me when wrestlers take apart the mat on the ring and expose the wood. What was going through your mind when you decided to do that?
It's not an intelligent question.
I wanted to hurt Darby Allin. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
I thought you said you were going to out wrestle him tonight.
I did out wrestle him. My hand was raised at the end. I beat him 2 falls to none.
Is that the kind of stuff that he would normally do that you said proves he's not a great wrestler?
Did I say that? I don't remember saying that.
Questions for the champ.
We did see an old friend show up tonight, but I was wondering, as the title holder, do you have your eye set on anybody else as far as a challenger, or are you just waiting for someone to step up next?
Why would I target somebody? I have the most prestigious championship in this company. People should be lining up to step in the ring with me. I'm the biggest star in this company. Just being in my presence elevates them. Of course they're going to line up and challenge me. Well, I'm not challenging anybody. I'm sure that there's a lineup out that door right now. What's up, Tony?
Well, I think there is a line out the door. You're a great champion. I think it was a great main event, and I think you've proven you're a great champion. It's been a short time you've held the title, a matter of weeks, but in these recent weeks, I think you've proven that.
It's going on 4 months. But I'm glad your timelines are in order.
Well,
I love that Christian is like delusional. And he believes every word he says.
Lyrics Win Monthly Pure. So, when you say that AEW needs a father figure, what does that entail?
There's a lot of lost souls in this company that need guidance. I feel it's my duty, my civil duty, to make sure that they're guided in the right direction. And Nick Wayne, like I said, he's got a bright, bright future now. Smart boy.
I noticed at the beginning of the show tonight, as we did the opening ceremony for the late great Antonio Inoki, I noticed you were watching on at the beginning of the event.
Yep. They lost their grandfather.
He's always watching.
I'm always watching.
Any more questions for the great champion? It was a classic main event. It was a classic pay-per-view, and you've been a huge part of what I think has been the best run of AEW shows we've ever done. Largely thanks to you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, it's been a great having the champion here. Let's hear it for the TNT champion, Mr. Christian Cage.
Everyone had every scrum. That thing always either just tips over or falls on the ground.
And speaking of unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, a man who yesterday had a birthday and tonight picked up a
Swerve?
huge pay-per-view win. Let's hear it for Swerve.
What up, turds?
Sean Garrett, Car 7 News. You said that Adam Page or Hangman Page would not know what he would be expecting tonight. Do you feel that the crowd gave what you expected tonight?
They gave exactly what I expected. They played into my hand exactly like I've been setting this trap for 4 weeks now. I knew when we were going to have this match as soon as I spoke my first couple words to the man. I knew that he was going to. I knew he was. I knew that he was going to come at me in such a way that I'm like, yo, this is easy. This was one of the. This was honestly one of the most easiest people I've ever had to manipulate in my life because I knew what he needed and he had what I needed, and that was his opportunity, and he played right into my hand.
I feel that
So
Swerve
that's that dark cloud that he was talking about.
is on his way to the main
That's me
event.
now.
I love Hangman is probably my favorite in AEW right now.
Swerve,
Well, he's definitely my
you've
favorite in
made
AEW right now.
quite a name for yourself here
But
in Washington.
he didn't need to win
Seattle,
this match.
before
He
your
doesn't
time
need
with
to win this
AEW.
feud. If they do
Now
continue more
coming
matches,
to
Swerve
Claymore
needs
Arena,
to beat
similar
Hangman.
reaction for you.
But
And
Swerve needs
like
to
any other city would maybe be the opposite. What does it mean like
he needs to
for
win
you to
decisively.
wrestle here in Seattle for such a huge event?
I want to
coming
see
back
them in
home
a
and
Texas
wrestling
death
back in
match
front of your hometown
or
crowd?
lights out
Well, it was
match.
honestly like the entire city
That'll
was telling the
be
rest of the wrestling world that they've
that'll
already known
cement
about me for years.
Swerve
And
as a main
so
event
as a main
level
eventer, that
wrestler,
this man
and
laid out
he'll
the red
hopefully
carpet
go
for
on to
me from
fight
day
MJF
one
for the title.
when I signed here, when I showed up at Revolution in Orlando, and he offered me a contract there rather than just having me come out, jump into a match, and get my ass beat. No, he laid me out a full contract signing in front of everybody. And what did I say? Whose house? And what did the rest of the crowd say? Exactly what Climate Pledge did. They've been doing that for years. And we just further prove that again. Like, there's going to always keep raising the ceiling every time I break through. And then they're going to raise it again. And then they're going to keep raising it again. And I'm going to keep shutting them down and making them look stupid. This week, I was just with Coach Prime at Colorado. And I relate to that man so much because everybody's waiting for him to fail. Everybody's waiting for him to slip up and make the mistakes and prove them, all their critics, wrong. Actually, prove them right. But he's no matter what, he's already winning. He's already winning. He's already beat everybody because they can't stop talking about him. They can't stop. The media doesn't even move in college sports without his name being in the circle. And that's what my name is going to start doing in pro wrestling. You don't mention AEW without hearing Swerve involved in that. You don't make a top 15, 20 bullshit list without Swerve being involved. And if you do leave me out, I make you look dumb over and over and over and over again. Hangman Page was honestly, like I said, this past week, it didn't have to be Hangman Page. It wasn't about Hangman Page. It was about whoever was holding that spot. It just happened to be Hangman Page. And he had to pay for it and be the lab rat in this experiment tonight.
Nick Hart from Body Slam. You wrestled in this area for a long time and know a lot of the talent in this area. Is there anyone you're interested in trying to bring onto your team here in AW?
Oh man.
No.
Well, Nick Wayne found his way here. You know, that wasn't my doing. You know, that was Darby Allin's doing. Was it too soon for him? Maybe. But he was in the main event tonight, so he may be showing me something that I don't know. I'm not, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not even going to tell you. I'm not even going to tell you who should be the next one up from this area. How about y'all do y'all research and do y'all jobs and y'all go find out?
Right.
How about y'all show up to the Defy? How about
Mm-hmm.
y'all show up to these Seattle shows and these independent shows and y'all do some of the work
That's smart.
instead of this
Smart
one do
answer
it for
from
you?
Swerve.
You know what I mean? How about go support them, figure them out? You start making the reports. You start making the next star to come
Mm-hmm.
up in here and
That's
get their
smart.
contracts.
Really good answer.
Because I had to do it the hard way, but Nick Wayne didn't have to. Hopefully, the next one doesn't have to do it as hard as I did. How about that?
That was a really good answer.
couple more for Swerve.
I believe in Swerve.
Emily May with Sports Heater Wrestling.
He could be world champion.
So we just heard from Jericho and Kenny Omega, and they gave you huge praise of the work that you've been doing, and especially tonight. How does that feel hearing it from them?
It's a beautiful validation. Hearing hearing something I didn't hear it personally, but just knowing that they're speaking like that about me is big. You know, even Adam Copeland using my name in the media scrum. Once again, that shows you my name is ringing bells around here. You know, my name should be in this conversations with these guys. And it took a year and a half to get to that point, but y'all been seeing what I've been building. Y'all been seeing what I've been doing. A lot of people like to say it was like a lot of like missteps and redirections and pitfalls and stuff. No, that's not wrong. That's building me. I've been building this entire time. And to get to that point where I get that recognition from my peers, from legends, from guys that run this place doesn't even move without those guys. You know what I mean? So, um, honestly, it's humbling to that fact. And like speaking on Jericho, that's a man that honestly, without a Jericho, there is no Swerve because he's the one that kind of was the multi-tool player of a wrestler for like the last 20 years,
Mhm.
being doing his podcasting, having his band, being in movies, doing TV shows, doing all these different things while still having an amazing legendary run as a professional wrestler. You know, that's that's
True.
kind of what like I kind of wanted to be. I wanted to gel myself into that. But at the time, you weren't seeing too many African American guys in the wrestling world doing that. You know, like shout out to like a Ron Killings who does that amazingly. You know, but I
Killings,
wanted to be
Booker.
the one to just take it up another notch, bring that bring that world a little bit closer to ours. You know, so um, even if it's the wrong kind of noise or the right kind of noise, I'm happy noise is being made, you know, and just to know those guys respect my hustle and grind as a media person, but also as a wrestler is even bigger. And that spectrum is like closing in. It's getting really, really like big on the every side. It's not too much. I'm very balanced out right now, which is really good, which is hard as hell to do, but I work really hard for that. And I sacrifice a shit ton. I have two beautiful daughters that I
Oh,
barely get to see because
I didn't know he had children.
I don't want that time that I wasted with them to amount to nothing. That's why I go so hard. That's why I grind so hard. That's why I do all this stuff. That's why I bring in a Rick Ross. That's why I have Fabulous out on stage with me at Kevin Gates and then go do a music video at the same time fly back across the country to be here for this man on time to perform and then go out podcast, bring on Tony Khan, bring in Jericho, bring in Kenny Omega on that, and then build up my friends like Montezi and bring in like, you know, like build up my team, my flash garments and stuff like that. All these guys, that's a lot that like I'm juggling a lot, you know, and a lot of normal people break on shit like that, but I can't afford to break. We as this culture can't afford to break.
What does that
We gotta
sound?
fight.
Why does it sound like Final Fantasy VII's menu? Do I have something on?
Lyric Swinton Monthly Peer. So
I don't think so.
when you became face to face with Hangman Page, you talked about potentially being the first Black AEW World Champion. And so it seems like you're on that path. And what do you feel is your role in bringing Black viewership to AEW and making this place feel like, just like it's, welcoming for, Black viewers?
Well, I'm real. Like I can look everybody in the eyes the same way and say the exact same thing, and I will not blink because I'm not playing around. I'm not portraying anything. And I feel like if it resonates like that with you, it resonates with people at home. It resonates with kids like me at home. When I said that, and out of all the things, that 5 minutes that I was speaking to Hangman Page, that was like one of those few words that resonated so hard. And it kind of like you saw positive, but you saw a lot of negative. and I expected that. I expected people to like have mixed reviews on those kind of things, or like, oh, well, what am I trying to perpetuate? And I'm like, no, I'm speaking real. Like, I have no problem saying that. It's not taboo. It's my culture. I have the right to speak on my culture and what I view and what
I
people
do hear Final Fantasy
that are like
Seven
me
remake.
view. And I want to be, and I know I can do it. I look this man in the eyes
Where is it coming
very
from?
proudly and say, I know that what I can do for you in this company, and I've been proving it for a year and a half.
Absolutely.
And I know you know that too.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have me here if you didn't.
It's very true. And just to
I hope that
put in
wasn't on the
perspective
stream the
how
whole
far
time.
you've come in a year and a half, how far the company's come in a year and a half. I don't know if you know this. This is a story I've never told you, I don't think. You may know it, not from me though. Uh, the first pay per view you were at, you mentioned Revolution 2022.
Maybe I'm
A
hearing
year and a
stuff.
half
I
you've
don't
been
know.
in AEW since you first signed, and of course Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, two of the great AEW World Champions. They were up here singing your praises. It was actually the opening match of Revolution 22. It was during the period where Kenny Omega was out injured, following Full Gear 2021, but it was Revolution 2022. Chris Jericho was in the opening match of the show. He wrestled Eddie Kingston in the opening match. Later in the show, you came out and signed, and Chris came to me in the chair. And Chris has a brilliant wrestling mind, and he's doing all kinds of projects. He was honestly not, when you came to AEW, he wasn't familiar with you. And he asked me, and he said, he's really cool looking wrestler. Tell me about him. And I said, I'm a huge fan of his work. He's wrestled a lot in Seattle, Orlando, different companies. I'm a huge fan. He's going to do awesome for us. You're going to love him. And here we are a year and a half later, and Chris Jericho sitting in this chair after watching you for a year and a half put over. He thinks you're one of the best wrestlers in the world, and that you did that. You convinced one of the best minds in wrestling, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and in a year and a half. And I think you've made believers of millions of people all over the world, and wrestled on some of the
How's it
greatest
going, Mr. Blue
pay-per-views, in my
Skies?
opinion, of all time. Certainly the greatest pay-per-views we've done. You've been a huge part of what's been happening in AEW in the year and a half you've been here. You've already been a world champion, a world tag team champion, and I think you can be a great champion as a single star or whatever you want to be. But we love having you in AEW, and I hope you had a great birthday weekend, Swerve.
The best.
That's good. Tony Khan, hopefully, I thought Swerve is gonna beat Orange Cassidy for the international title because he was very close, but OC like barely got the win off of him. Hopefully he does win a championship. Hopefully it's the world title. I don't know if he beats MJF. We'll see how they build that if they do build that match. But I can see him beating MJF. They just have to build it right. But I think they're gonna do something with Cole and MJF eventually for the title. Maybe Swerve wins it and then MJF wins it back or something. And then continue with the Cole stuff. I don't know. Or Swerve beats someone for the TNT or Christian's the TNT champion, so that wouldn't work right now.
It's great to have you here.
But he should be world champion or international champion. International champion would be good too.
It was awesome.
So that title is really prestigious and really well booked.
Kate from Fightful. I think Antonio Inoki is definitely smiling down on what you guys did today, so congratulations. You and Zach had met in 2008, and then various points, Cruiserweight Classic, of course. Very different stages of your career now, and I was just wondering what your thoughts and feelings were being in completely different technique master stages of your life.
Yeah, it's really crazy to think of
I
the
thought that was
person
a
he
pit
was
stain on
before he
Danielson's
became Nate.
armpits,
There's
but it's
pictures
a
when we
shadow
met, I'm
of the
sure that
mic.
people could see, of me and Zach, and he looks like a skinny kid. And now he's a man. And I would argue, one of the selling points of
Zack
this
Sabre used
match
to
is to
look
find
like
out who the best
very,
technical
very
master is.
scrawny
And in
and
theory, the
lanky.
idea is
Now
whoever
he's
the
buff,
match
not buff, but
is the
he's
better
put on a
technical
lot of
wrestler.
weight, but a lot of
Being
good
in the
weight.
match,
Not muscle, not
I won the match.
it's
I
muscle,
am
but
now
it's
convinced
also
that I was
like
the better technical wrestler.
I don't know.
He
I
was doing
can't really
things
tell.
that,
He's a lot
quite frankly,
better
unbelievable.
built now.
Great. And I don't
Not
know.
as lanky.
We were talking about it. My hand and wrist are super swollen. And so it's but
Come
it
on,
was
thanks.
sometimes I'm out there
and I would love to get
But I lost my voice.
PK
Oh, you
on my
went to
podcast.
WrestleDream. From screaming at Adam Copeland's debut, I got a title signed by Hangman. Oh, that's
And there's
pretty
also the
cool.
part that you're just
That's
like,
really cool.
oh, I'm in awe of what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I'm glad
So,
y'all got
so
the
yeah, I mean,
experience
it was
Adam
a super
Copeland coming
cool
out tonight. That's pretty cool. I love that moment.
match for me to have, and
It's
I'm
pretty
also very
insane that
grateful
he's using
to have,
Metalingus,
like,
but he's friends with the people who made
not
the
even a
song,
real
so
match in Seattle.
it's pretty
All
cool
of the
that
matches have
he
been
can use that in
heroic,
AEW.
short matches or whatever. When we came here in January,
He told me his
I
arm was
wrestled
on
Tony
fire.
Nese for like 4.5 minutes
Who
or something like that. And to be able to do this
Hangman
match that I've wanted
or
to do for
Danielson?
so long in front of this
Because
crowd
Danielson's
for
arm
an
is all
event
jacked
like
up.
this that's
Looks
honoring
nasty.
Antonio Inoki, I couldn't ask for anything more than that.
Oh, Hangman? Oh, what happened to his arm? Something that happened at some point in his match, but I don't remember what happened.
All right, Mark with Mark Hoke Show and Kate on
I remember.
Las Vegas.
Oh,
been
oh, I
watching
know when.
wrestling for
Okay,
about
it was
4 years, and I have never seen a match.
it was right before
be very
the like when the doctors were checking on
And
him. I know
I'm
something
curious if
happened. I
a young
forgot,
wrestler came
but
to
it
you
looked nasty. Whatever
and
had
said,
happened to him, I
"How
forgot
do
what it
I
was.
learn to
Hopefully he's all right.
do
He don't have to
what you
miss
did
any
with Adam Cole?"
shows.
What would you tell him?
I would
But yeah,
say
Hangman, I love Hangman.
the beginning
My
steps
favorite in
to learning
AEW.
everything is starting
How
at
much?
the
Well, not
basics
how much was the title. I wish I can get the
progressing
AEW
through
title.
mastery.
That's probably the
And
one
we're still in
championship
that area.
that I
So if
actually
you
want
love
and want to
technical
spend money on.
wrestling,
But it's like
it's starting
I don't know how
with
much it
the
is. Like
fundamentals,
600 or
gradually
like
expanding
over 1,000. I don't
until
remember,
you master one thing. And once
or
you
close to
learn to
1,000.
master one thing, then you can learn to master another thing. And when you learn to master multiple things, then it becomes easier to master more and more and more. And then you get to the point where you're able to do some incredible things that you wouldn't have
I
thought
heard
you
it snap.
were able to
It
do when you
was
were 18.
what was it? What happened? I forget what move it was. Cause
The cat body slam.
oh, was
It's
it
the
when
move
he?
that
I think
you made
when
over a
Swerve
big
like
show for
yeah
Collision,
okay
as of
he
late.
like
I was
snapped
curious
it back.
first
Yeah, I
if
heard
that
it. I
was
hope it's
true,
not broke.
and secondly,
I hope it's not
if
broke.
you get a chance to look
I
at
haven't
the
seen anything, any
wrestlers
like
that come onto
updates
the show, like
on
a few episodes
Hangman
just on, do you have any
after
kind of
his
role
match.
in that, or is that
But I hope it's not like broken or
No, I mean
anything.
it's mostly my role
This
on
is
Collision is just
it's his
I
lariat
try to
arm.
talk about
It's
it and
his
all that, but
buckshot
it's
arm.
like there's no
It's
official
fractured.
program, and I try to watch everything
That
that I
sucks.
can
That's horrible.
and especially
He left
we'll
the venue
stay
already, or you got it
late
signed
after
at
Collision to get
uh
into the Ring of Honor tapings and all that kind of stuff. And I like to
before the
watch all the
show?
Ring of Honor matches
No. You it must
because
have been
you'll
after the
see a
show.
lot of
So
one.
maybe he
I
left
want to know
already.
who within the umbrella of our company is doing really good work, but I also want to
That
see
sucks, man.
the independent talent that
I
we're
hope
bringing into
Hangman
the
is
show
at
or
full
whatever.
gear.
I like to see
I want to see him
people, and I'm
in
like,
full
oh
gear because
wow,
I'm
look at
going
this.
to the Collision
We just
and Full
had
Gear that
Brian
week
Keith, and
next month.
I'd watched some of his matches on say like YouTube, but seeing somebody live is a different perspective. And he wrestled Hangman on Rampage, and he just did an incredible job. And
Is he talking about
sometimes you get to see people and you don't know how they
Brian
are. You get
Keith?
to see them in person, and then you're like, oh wow, there's something here. And so yeah, I like watching all that. I try to keep up on it as much as I can.
I think he's talking about Brian Keith. I got it signed while he was when he was leaving the rent. Oh, that's pretty
Phil
cool.
Greenberg with
That's
Inside
pretty
Sports
cool.
Magazine. I noticed you made it a point at the end of your match
Yeah,
to
that
embrace Aubrey Edwards. What
I
will
hope
you
he's
do
not.
to
I hope he
communicate
doesn't have to
not
miss
just
too
to
much time off
Aubrey,
of work,
but to all
off
the
of
people here in
shows.
Washington State?
But if he does, hopefully
Uh,
he heals.
so when Aubrey first introduced herself to me, she um, she introduced herself and said, "Did you ever see the meme of the crying girl when you were forced to retire?" And I had no idea what she was even talking about.
The
But then she
crying
showed me,
girl.
and it's her, right?
What?
She was in Key Arena when I did my retirement speech, and
I
that's
never heard of this.
it's just a cool moment. There's not in the history of professional wrestling, there haven't been a lot of people from this area that make
Oh,
it
that is her.
that
What
big,
the?
right? And
Is
now we're
Pyro
lucky
scared?
in this company
Scared you? Oh, well, if
that
you're
we
by the
have
ramp, then yeah, I'm
multiple
sure.
people
I don't think anybody else had pyro the whole night. I noticed it in the main event. I was like, who had pyro tonight? I didn't hear no pyro going off. Darby doesn't have any pyro. OC has a pyro, but it's just like one little flimsy little pyro.
But for me and her, because she was, and I actually have never talked to her about her attachment to me and why she was crying, right? But the fact that she's been on this journey with me, and then we got to have this moment together in Seattle because
Oh yeah, they hugged after the match.
It's just it felt special.
That's pretty cool. I was wondering why he hugged Aubrey. I was like, why is he hugging Aubrey? But I was like, okay, they're both from Seattle. Okay. But that's pretty cool story. Jericho, I think, had pyro. I don't remember.
Amanda.
You're tired. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you are. I hope you had. Well, the show was fantastic. Y'all were pretty good crowd. I enjoy Seattle because AEW doesn't go to Seattle often, just like LA. So when we get AEW, we love it.
I will never say never, but she puts stuff on Instagram that I don't even know. So sometimes people will say like, "Oh my gosh, that picture of your kids is adorable." And I'm like, "What picture are you talking about?" And they'll show them to me, and I haven't even seen the picture. She hasn't sent me the picture. So I will say this. Bree is the boss in our family. If she wants to come do it, it'll get done.
Brian Alvarez from The Observer. What were your thoughts on Josh Barnett getting to do the Inoki tribute?
I was one of the few who was cheering for Paige.
Have you ever had a chance to train with him?
I'm glad. I'm thankful for you. But I figured that the crowd was gonna be 100% or 98% Swerve in favor because it's his hometown. He's heavily
we actually
he heavily influenced the crowd's reaction after like leading up to the match because they were going to be in Seattle. He was repping Seattle, so he was going to be heavily favored. But yeah, Hangman is always going to have his detractors, but he always proves people wrong at the end of the day. He always proves that he's a fantastic pro wrestler at the end of the match, no matter what.
I really appreciate you coming and doing this, Brian,
And
everything
honestly, the right man won. I wanted Swerve to win because this will help Swerve get to Hangman's level instead of Hangman keeping Swerve down, beating him. And I love Hangman. He should be winning more matches. He should be winning more rivalries, but not against Swerve. Swerve should win this feud if they continue the feud, because it'll catapult Swerve to the main event level, and hopefully he can do some stuff with MJF. That could be pretty cool.
Champion Chris Statlander.
A babyface MJF. Oh, you're from Texas. Oh wait, you're from Texas, but you live in New York. So I'm really into cowboys because my grandpa was a cowboy and let me ride his horse once. I fell and broke my arm, but I'm okay. That was years ago. That's interesting. You have you're kind of like a Bradshaw, a JBL, like a cowboy that lives in Texas. Nah, that's pretty cool though. I'm sure Texas is much different from New York. I'm sure. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I've never been on a horse. I don't think I ever really want to go on a horse. Don't really trust it because stuff like that can happen. But yeah, at least you're good now. I'm sure. I don't think I've ever broken a bone, so I can't really. I can't really.
There's so many people that
what is it called? I can't really.
And I would love to. And outside of AEW,
I don't really have
there's
that
just
feeling.
So many people that the list would go on, and of course, I am always open.
You miss Texas.
Like I always say,
yeah.
anyone, anytime, any place,
I'm sure.
I would love to
nothing. It's no place like home, like the saying goes. I live in
And I think
California,
for
and
everybody listening
I
that
would
all
love to move out of state
Julie was
because
waving is
California
you've
is
got so much
expensive.
chemistry with some of your
But
opponents. You
if
guys
I
have
were to
great
move from
matches. Me and
California,
Julie had
I'm
great matches before, but this
100%
was on a
I
completely different
100%
level.
would
And it
want
was
to
really off
come
the
back here
charts. I
to
think it
live
showed
here
how far
again
she's come, but you as
because
well.
it's
I think it's
just no
obvious
place
you're the
like home.
champion, how far you've come to be a great
It's a
champion
place that
and
you're
to
used to.
a dominant champion.
You're
But
visiting
Julie,
next week for your cousin's
since
graduation
your
party. That's
first
pretty
meeting,
cool.
since your last meeting, Julie has come so far, and I
So
thought
you
she was
so
amazing.
you came from New York to go to Seattle
She's
and then
definitely
go
a
into
whole different
Texas.
person from the first time we
Pretty
wrestled,
cool.
the second time we wrestled, and
Like
she was a challenge tonight. But I'm
a
also just very proud of
what is it called?
how
A
much
world
she's
tour?
improved, and I think she's incredible.
I
Not
also
really
thought 2
world tour,
weekends
but
ago you had an amazing
United
rematch
States
with Dr.
tour.
Britt Baker. You have a lot of history with Britt Baker. You've had great matches, and that might have been the best one yet.
Yes, my goal is to always leave them wanting more, and I think it
It's
could go
crazy
on
that
forever with a lot of people.
Chris Statlander and Julia Hart had a really great
I thought
match,
that was incredible. Just the
and
last few weeks, you guys
you would
wrestled so
never
great, and I
expect
also
to
think your confidence
say
is off the charts.
like
I think your
when
promos
Jade
and
was
your music
champion.
are better than ever.
Jade was
You're doing
very
so well.
Thank you. I'm trying my best.
It's great.
kind of going up,
It was a great match.
going north to
Thank
south.
you.
Yeah,
Next question for the champ.
well, sort of, because New York to Seattle, then to
Emily May with
it's like a
Tony
triangle
Wrestling.
to
So
Texas,
Tony
and then
and
going
even
back to New
other
York.
wrestlers tonight at the press conference
But what was I trying to
discussed
say?
Julia
Jade
Hart's
is like
growth over
she's
this
very
last year,
not
especially
robotic,
in
but
this match tonight. And
she
so
was
how
very
is it
limited
different for you
in
as
her
a
moveset
champion going
and the
in
match
to
quality.
see her
It all
growth?
depended on
And
her
did
opponent,
that
which most of the
challenge
time
you
her
or
opponents
intimidate
were,
you or kind of change
I
what
wouldn't
you
say
have to do
jobbers,
to
but
get
not
better
people who
tonight?
were gonna beat her for the title.
Like I had mentioned, like
One of
I'm
the problems
very
with Jade's
proud to see
booking
how far she's
was
grown.
that she
Of
was
course,
not fighting
after I haven't
anyone
been
on
able
her
to
level
work with
for the most
someone
part.
or wrestle them for a
She
while,
did
there's
sometimes,
always
but not
initially
often.
that need to want to feel them out a little bit beforehand. But of course, I going into any match, I always try to prepare and see what she's doing, keep my eyes on her, and I can see there's a whole other side of intensity from her lately. And I think there's also been a whole other side of intensity from me. And I think we were both going into this match just looking to bring out the best of each other and push each other to our limits.
I
And
didn't
I think
expect to
that's
stream
exactly
this
what
whole
we
thing, but
exactly what we
I'm
did.
glad I am.
So, yeah, I think her, like you said, like her growth has been absolutely incredible. And
I'm glad I
I
didn't
can't
get
wait to
banned.
see what the future holds for her. And
TK
I
always
can't wait
looks
to give
so
her
depressed
another
for some
shot at
reason. I'm
this
just
down the
kidding.
line eventually.
It's like he.
Hi,
I know what
TK
you mean.
Trinidad with World Wrestling
I
Talk.
know
So you
I
had
know his
Red tweet and also
face.
Britt Baker tweet
Usually he's like in a good
about
mood though,
just the
unless
positivity
depends
of
on who's
women's
talking.
wrestling and how people
But
are
he's usually
growing
in
to
a good
love it.
mood.
What
I
would
can
you
tell.
attribute that to as far as the growing?
He's usually scared when
I think it's just
he doesn't know how
so many
the
of the
wrestlers
women
are gonna
were
answer the
all in
question.
front of
So
Britt Baker,
he's
and
looking at them
constantly
like
put
you
out
better
these
say
matches where Britt
you
Baker
better
was
not
setting
give too much
promos,
away or something like
and we
that.
want
He always has
to
that look.
have fun, and we want
And
to
usually they
see each
don't.
other succeeding.
But
And I think
they
that was
get to
so
just
important.
go
And
out
it
and have
caused them
fun
to be
and
really
answer the
gung
questions
ho for each
pretty
other. And
wholeheartedly for the most part.
we just want more for each other, and we all just want to put our best foot
The
forward
scrum,
and
if you
put
didn't
on a
catch
great
most of it,
show,
it's been pretty
no
good.
matter what it is we're given. And I think
Nah,
we
he ever since the
people
CM
always
Punk
like to
stuff, I think he's been a
assume
lot
they know what's
more
going on behind closed
hands
doors, but they
on
don't.
with
And
what the
we want
wrestlers
to publicly show that no, we
they're
really do
like
care
he
about each
checks them
other.
out harder
We want the
probably
best for each
because
other, and
he just let Punk
I
go.
think it's just
He didn't even bother
supporting
to
each other
stop
in
him.
any way possible.
He
And I
just let
think
him keep
that was
talking, and I was like, this is going on pretty
we want the
hard.
best for each other.
And he just let him keep talking and keep talking. I'm just like, okay. So he has learned from that, I'm sure.
ISW 99.9. And so growing up, and then when you got into wrestling and started training, when you're studying tape and learning about these, different styles of wrestling, who are some people that
But
you
I know.
really
I was
kind
gonna
of
say
crafted
it's
your
pretty cool that
style
you got to
around
go to
and
WrestleDream.
influenced you?
Did you get
So I don't know
what is it called?
well known it
Like
is, but
you
I never
planned
grew
out
up watching
that
wrestling.
you were going to
And I didn't
WrestleDream
even know that wrestling
like
was a
as soon as they
thing
announced the show,
until I was brought
like you were
into
like, okay, I'm about to
LA
book the
and
tickets
I was
and get the
watching so
flight and all
excited. I was
that,
like,
or
I need
was
to
it
do
like a
this.
last
And then
minute
once I
thing?
started training, they were like, you should probably watch wrestling. So I just had a bunch of guys would like be like, oh, let's try like RVD's moves. And I was like, I'm not RVD. I cannot do any of this stuff. Or I really just watched
a lot of the people that helped train me, and a lot of my inspiration were people like VSK, Brian Myers, Pat Buck. They're my trainers. Even unfortunately, MJF was there my first day of training. Yeah. But just how much people cared about me. I was just inspired by everyone that helped me out, and all I ever wanted to do in wrestling was just make them proud. And any sort of like tape studying I did would just be like best 100 moves of this wrestler compilation videos on YouTube, and that's where I figured out everything. That's where I got
I
my
used to watch those
style, and
videos
I
all
was
the time.
just kind of winging it, and that's what made me the man I am today. If That's great. We can take a few more questions for the champ, I think. That was awesome. Anyone else has anything they want to know? I think in addition to the great coaches you named, we've got some great coaching in AEW right now. I think Pat's still doing a great job for you to this day, and Sarah Stock's doing awesome. Yes, she's Ari, incredible. Ari Davari doing a great job. Oh, he's awesome. Yes, we have a lot of good hands on deck here. I appreciate all of our coaches very much. You're doing a great job too. Thanks. All right. Hey,
That's amazing.
Great job, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
Chris.
you. Thank you.
Great
Thank you.
Thank
Nobody
you,
want to
champ.
ask Chris anything
Very
else?
different disposition from the TBS champion compared to the TNT champion. Far sunnier.
Oh yeah, yeah. Christian earlier was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. He was he just believes everything he says. I bought 3 tickets weeks ago. I booked my flight 1 week. Oh, but my tickets 3 weeks
on the
ago.
West Coast,
Booked my
and
flight 1 week after
3
that.
hours ahead. I thought I would have fun and just
Not
really
but-
go wild, get a lot of the great
Yeah,
wins, and
when
we're having fun.
it's crazy.
One of the great pay-per-views of all
I've been to
time, one of the
2
great
AEW shows. The only 2 that they've been out here in LA,
Here is
and the day like the days leading up, I was like, okay, it's happening this week, okay.
international
And then the day
champion
of hits,
Cassidy,
and I feel like butterflies in my stomach, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I feel sick. I don't want to go. I don't want to go to the show. I don't want to do this. And then I go and I have a great time. I don't know. There's something about wrestling that gets me like sick. It makes me feel sick, but also at the same time it makes me feel happy because I'm experiencing like some great stuff. Pretty cool. But that's is it you by yourself, or you said tickets? So I'm sure you're with someone.
They're very
But
different individuals in many ways, but they form this great bond.
on the ride over to the pay per view.
Years
Oh, you
ago
almost threw up.
outside of the ring, and
I've had that
great
feeling.
friends of my
I
life.
had
Thought they'd
the last
be
show
great to come
in
up here.
LA
You can
that I
ask
went
both
to.
questions or separately, whoever you want to talk to, but
I went to eat with my friend, and we were at the Sizzler right across the street, and I didn't want to eat. I wasn't hungry. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to keep all this down. So I've had like a little salad salad bar. I ate like whatever. I ate something small because I didn't eat that day. I don't think, or maybe I ate earlier in the day. I don't remember. Oh, you're with your dad. Oh, that's pretty cool.
I don't know.
And thanks for following Montaigne's 1998. I appreciate that. But yeah, I know that feeling. I'm glad I haven't thrown up yet. I'm most likely I'm gonna have to do 2 shows back to back, and I'm gonna feel sick both of those days. But once the show starts and I get in my seat, then I feel fine. But leading up, like it's the anxiety. I think it's the being anxious to watch it and go to the show and experience it. I know that feeling. I don't know if everybody gets like that, but I do
have you all
sometimes.
seen the photo of Shibata-san?
It's weird. It's only those 2 AEW shows. I've been to a few wrestling shows in my time. I've been to some PWG shows. None of them felt like how AEW made me feel. I went to SummerSlam 2014. I didn't feel really sick that day. I went to Raw that same year. Didn't really feel sick at all. You don't know why you didn't follow. What? I don't care why I didn't follow as soon as I started talking about my stuff.
There's no pass it around.
Pass it
What do you mean?
around. You're
You didn't
out.
know
Oh, you
what?
almost did it. You almost did it.
What? You don't know why I didn't follow as soon as I started talking about my. What do you mean?
Don't screw through the photos. Mandy,
No, they're fine.
Mandy, you
It's
better
fine.
watch
It's
that.
fine. It's for you. Pretty cool, right?
It is.
You can throw it back. I'll catch it.
Yeah, throw it back.
I actually asked the question to you, Orange, because you have such a unique style. And so, you can watch a lot of wrestlers and you say, okay, this guy loved
I'm
this guy
surprised
growing
OC
up,
is
this guy
up
loved
here.
this guy growing up. But you can't really watch you and really think, man, this guy was a big fan of
Oh, my bad.
XYZ.
My bad. I'm dumb.
Right, and
Thank
I
you for
think that
following Mr. Blue
is
Skies. I'm dumb.
important now in today's
Sorry, I'm sure it's been a long day for you
today
and for me because I worked earlier.
repeat
Then I
history,
came home to
or
watch this fantastic
if we
show.
decide if we like something, we tend to
Um,
imitate that. And I wanted to be different.
but
I
yeah,
wanted to
thank you for following.
literally
I don't know
do
what I
what
was
you just
thinking.
said.
I was
I
like,
don't
you
want
didn't
anybody
follow. What are you
to come
talking
to me
about?
and say, "Oh, well, that guy wrestles like that. He looks like a young blah blah blah." He's like, I wanted to be special and unique, and I wanted to be different, and
Get down. What are you doing?
I wanted to be the person that when, however long from now, someone like says, "Oh, you wrestle like Orange Cassidy," and I think it's not easy. It's very obviously very very difficult. So thank you for saying that.
Lyrics win
All
monthly
right, for
here.
sure,
So,
Mr.
so
Blue
Orange
Skies.
Cassidy,
Hopefully,
you just
I
had a
usually
monumental run as
stream
the
after the
second
AEW shows to
international
talk about them.
champion.
So maybe
So,
next time, maybe
what
next
is the
month,
next
I'll
big
probably
goal
come
for
off
you
of Full
currently
Gear
in AEW?
and do a stream,
And
maybe Collision
for
too. So if
Shibata-san,
you don't catch me any other
from
time I stream,
Bravo's
I appreciate you
anniversary,
for
it will be
stopping by,
broken
man.
around
Hopefully, I'll see you
Antonio
next time.
Inoki. What
Have a
did
good
it
night, man.
mean for you to participate in this tribute show to him tonight?
Should I go first? Okay, I'll go first. You want me to go first or Shibata?
I love Shibata and his Texas speech.
Yeah, Shibata.
His
Shibata's
his Japanese to English Texas speech.
I am very grateful to be able to participate in today's ceremony. Thank you, Tony. There is one problem. My battery is low, so today's translation will be done by Japan's biological Japanese machine.
There it is.
What?
Okay, good.
Japan. Oh, okay. I was like, what did he?
I
What?
forgot the question because
Japanese
that was
biological.
what'd you ask? I'm so sorry. That I just can't. I can't think right now. Yeah. What's next? Like I said when I walked in here and it said former international champion. You don't have something for so long, and then when you don't have it, it's impossible to miss it. It gave me a lot of purpose, and it was something that I never felt before, especially in professional wrestling. So, it almost became an identity, which is difficult for me to say, but it is still at the forefront of my mind. And I think tonight, when I saw an opportunity to get into the ring with the current international champion, I took that opportunity for a reason. And, I just want it back. Yeah, that's it.
Right here.
Kevin Deers here. This question is for Katsuyori Shibata. So you trained down at the New Japan LA dojo. You were the
Someone
trainer
just
down
posted
there.
this on
There are some
Twitter.
people from right here in the
If I could
Northwest
even
Park,
show it.
Lars, also Kevin Knight, who were wrestlers down there.
It's
what was that like for you?
someone
What
says
did that mean
someone
to you
said one more left,
training
Tony
under the
Khan,
New Japan
and
LA
it's
dojo
the
as a trainer?
WrestleMania
Also, what can we look for
picture
from
of
this training?
Danielson, Edge, and Roman Reigns from WrestleMania.
I was explaining it. Good question.
Roman ain't coming, man. He ain't leaving at all.
Good stuff.
Okay, thanks.
He has it way too good to be. Honestly, he has it way too good
I'm sorry,
as champion over there.
Japanese. まあそれぞれが自分の道を進んでいければいいなと思ってます。
So I think every wrestler is going to each own way. That's the best way for everybody.
I wonder why OC and Shibata is here because they were not in the same matches. I'm pretty sure.
A great teacher. He was a great student to Antonio Inoki, which is why I thought it was very fitting tonight. Not only one of wrestling's great teachers, but also somebody who's
been a great student, and now has taken what he learned from one of the greatest minds, one of the greatest champions, one of the greatest bosses in the history of wrestling, the late great Mr. Antonio Inoki. But now Shibata-san himself has become wrestling's greatest champion.
Nick Hart from Body Slam. This is a question for Shibata, or I guess also you, Tony. Does Shibata, do you still have any ties with New Japan anyway, like contractually, or are you exclusively just signed with AEW and Ring of Honor?
If Tony wish, I am ready to make a commitment.
I want you to stay forever. Never leave. Please never leave. You're my favorite. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're the best.
Shibata is great.
A few more questions? Here we go.
Shibata, what does it mean to the Japanese wrestling community now that we're getting to see more and more Japanese wrestlers participating on American soil that Tony's been bringing in? And Orange, my question for you is, my daughter thinks you're really cool. Could you say hi?
Yeah, what's your name? Hi, Amanda. I'm Orange Cassidy. Nice to meet you. Every now and then.
私もその一人なんで。
So I am
Oh,
now
man.
one Japanese wrestler to come to the United States.
Yes, absolutely. We've brought in a lot of great stars, but this is there's no doubt this man is wrestling's greatest champion, in my opinion. And well, we've had a lot of wrestlers, a lot of great names come from Japan. I think the list starts and ends with the great Shibata.
And I think we're very lucky to have somebody of Shibata's caliber and just wrestling aura to be here in the AEW locker room, and for people to see Shibata on American national television is, I think it is a wild step forward for us, for Americans to see a different side of professional wrestling that we all enjoy. So I think we're very, very fortunate.
We consider him a leader in the locker room.
Absolutely.
He's one of the real leaders in AEW.
You're not supposed to be doing it on that rug, Nala.
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to go. Bye.
Thanks, Orange. Thank you very much.
I'm catching up on some AEW stuff. I didn't hear anything about the Hangman injury, so hopefully it's not a fracture or anything, but we'll see. My cat's playing. Every time she poops, he plays. I don't know why. And it's the only time she plays during the day.
Absolutely.
She don't ever play really at all
And
anymore.
now,
and she's still young. She's only she's not even 2 yet.
ladies and
Or
gentlemen,
maybe she is
the
2.
hometown hero. Are you okay?
I'm surprised they're still going.
You don't like to see that.
This is probably the longest scrum with the wrestlers
I
ever.
gotta be up early in the morning because I gotta meet up with this guy at the REI to climb Mount Everest, and I gotta talk to him about. He's my coach, so I gotta wake up at 9 in the morning to go to REI downtown and plan this Mount Everest climb.
Well, I hope you're going to be in a condition to climb Mount Everest.
Yeah.
It's already very dangerous and life-threatening, and you trying to do it.
What happened to his arm?
It's not a good idea. So please don't get yourself in a bad situation.
Well, I told Jay, one of these days I'm gonna win the TNT Championship. I'm gonna climb Mount Everest and I'm gonna make a will. And if I die on Mount Everest, I'll give him the championship back.
Okay, good. That's a very morbid thought, but that sounds right on brand for Christian Cage and frankly for you. Well, along those lines of morbidity, it was one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen. It was one of the great main events, one of the great shows, and the city of Seattle really showed the love to you. That crowd was amazing, and they were behind you so much. It was a great match. I've been saying it to you for 4 years, sir. You are insane. And
Yeah, Darby is
it's amazing.
insane.
It's your first pay-per-view main event.
I told someone earlier that came in here. I told him that
and he was
Darby
over, and I remember
when Christian was going to throw Darby the first time,
4 years
on the
ago
steps.
for
He thought
something
about it,
for
and I
our
was like,
anniversary at Dynamite,
"No,
our
I'm not
third
doing
ever
that."
episode. So
So
several
he
years ago
got
in
to
Philadelphia,
the floor
tore the
and did
house
it
down your
and
first
threw him on the
ever main event.
steps.
You absolutely tore
It
the
was
house down for your
bad, but
first
it
pay per
wasn't
view
as
main
bad
event, man.
as throwing him from the apron to the floor ring steps, and then
Darby, JC from Havoc Sports, man.
Yeah,
The
what's
last
up,
time
man?
you were out
uh
here in Seattle,
what
you
is
were
it called?
declined for
And
business reasons
then
at the Space
as
Needle.
I was
Do you
like
want to do
typing,
it
I was
again?
tweeting, I was like,
No,
okay,
we
I can see
started doing
Christian
all
didn't
the
want to
steps
do
and
it, so he's
stuff
not
as
gonna
well.
do it. And
It was
then
for charity, right?
Christian got him up on there
So I
again
wasn't
and
too
just
dumb
threw
to
like he threw him like a sack of potatoes.
and then
Like the first
yeah,
time,
no,
it
it was
looked like
fun.
he was gonna try
I
to
had
do
a
it
good time
safely,
there, and I'd love to do
well, as safe
anything
as possible.
Seattle would like. I want to be a part of.
But
Any local,
Christian was just like,
anything to
whatever.
like
I'm just gonna let
the
this
scene
do
in
what this guy tells me to do,
Seattle.
and he just
So
threw him like a sack of
like give
potatoes.
back to it, and just like
This year has
whatever,
been
like
unpredictable, and not only in
investing in like
wrestling.
new like just a bunch of
Yes,
stuff
but
to
and
help
also
out kids,
in
especially
terms
with
of
like
what
I'd love to
other
do meet and greets and like
unpredictable
skate with
stuff,
all these like kids
not
from
in
the local
wrestling.
area and stuff like that. So, cause
But
I
yeah,
know when I came
this
here, there
year
wasn't a
is
lot of
crazy
things going
for
on.
wrestling.
So I'd like to give back to the city, to the kids. That's why hopefully that little kid that I gave my skateboard to actually skates one day. So, and I don't see it on eBay, please.
Right here from the Observer.
Yes, sir.
What did it mean to you to have this main event in Seattle? Nick's there, Shauna's there in the front row. I'm sure all of your friends and family. Pay-per-view main event. And the second question,
Gaming.
I
Oh
guess, what are your
yes,
memories of driving
yes.
around with Friday night
There's a
and
lot
all
of
that stuff?
interesting gaming
So first of all,
moments that happened this
revamping
year.
this show is
Mario
I
RPG
can't
remake
put
is
into
pretty
words how much
looking
that
pretty
meant to me.
nice.
And it was the perfect storm
They're
of
finally doing something with that
being in
after like what,
Seattle,
like 30
having
years
Nick
or something
here
like that.
and
Not
everything.
30,
And
maybe
it's
like almost 30, like
I
25 or
have
something like that.
sacrificed so much to get to this point.
This year in general
Like literally,
is probably
there's
one of
no
the best
words to
gaming
describe
years
it.
ever.
And I'm
Next
so
year is
grateful
shaping
to
up
have
to be the
AEW here,
same.
and I don't take anything
It's
for granted.
crazy. I think it's
And
with the all the
I'll say it
pandemic
for a long
time.
time. There's
People
never gonna be
spent
a bidding war for Darby
making
Allin.
games during the
He's gonna
pandemic.
go on to
I
live
think a lot of
wherever
that
he
is
and
happening,
I
like
need that
actually coming
because
out
life's too
this
fucking
year
short to play
and
those
next year.
childish games. Like, and I'm being real
A
here.
lot of
Like,
games
I
got
love
pushed back because of the pandemic, so a lot of the
to
games that
be
people have been
in a
working on
spot
probably got
like the
put
main
on hold
event
for a
in
little
a
bit or for a
building that I've
while.
been coming to, even though it was
So we're
only 2
seeing a
weeks
lot of
before,
good
but
stuff
it's like a full
the
circle
past
moment,
this
and
year
it was
and
very
this year
special.
and next year.
You know,
So it's pretty good.
broke
It's
a nail.
great. Fantastic.
So it was, but Adam, yeah, did he talk about
28
that?
years since Mario.
Did Adam talk about the
Superstar. Mario RPG. Yeah,
No, you talking about Friday night. I thought you meant about you breaking it down.
Oh no,
that's
Talk
a
about
long
Friday
time.
night.
no.
But I think I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if it was like
Wrong
Square
on it.
Enix
Okay,
or whatever
yeah,
that
no,
was
dude, like I
or
love
that
being a part of
Nintendo
every
probably just
event.
didn't
So
have
I was
like
telling earlier this week,
a
talking
reason
about like,
to
hey,
remake it,
Adam's
even though they
interested
weren't
in like
they
filming a
weren't doing
video
anything with the game. It was
and I
stuck
would love
on
to
Super
sponsor
Nintendo
a video
until
and try to get all
the
these
NES, the Super
it was
Nintendo
so epic.
Classic.
I don't know if you guys got it.
One of the
I'll
reasons
send it
why I
to you
got
now
that is
with the
because of
drone
Super Mario
shot with
RPG.
those fireworks going off. It was the perfect
But
time
I
because the
played it, but I
listeners just
didn't
won or something
finish
like
it.
that. They
So I'll
won,
probably
right?
play the remake when it comes out in like November
Right.
or something.
So then the big old fireworks going off, and then I was like, man, they're gonna think we paid for that fire. It was so epic, and that was my first time meeting Adam, and it was incredible. Such a good guy, and I told him straight up
But
when he came here, I
yeah,
was
it all.
like, I'm
I don't
one of
even
those
know
young
what comes
guys
out
that
around
want
that
to
time.
pay
I
for
know
the
that
game.
I'm
But
not gonna be able to
nowadays, it's
play
like, yo, I can't learn from
Square and
the best.
Nintendo had a breakup.
I
Yeah,
love
because
working with
Square
vets,
was
hence why I love
all the
working with
Final
Stan and
Fantasies
him.
up until
But
7 were on
just to let you
Nintendo.
know, I'm
And
not
then
the type of guy that tries to
the
push
64
like
couldn't handle
content
FF7,
onto
so
any of the
they
young
just
guys.
went to
And I'm like, what the
PlayStation,
hell are you talking about?
and
Back in your
they
day,
were
bro,
like
we would
PlayStation's home
seriously
for a
flipping
while.
tables and like jumping off ladders.
And then Nintendo
So I'm like,
eventually got
I
those those
kinda break
games,
your back
but
to
like
play, man.
20
So
years later
he's a really incredible
with the
guy, and he was
Switch.
so humble and so open to letting me like help throw my ideas around, you know. And a lot of that video is very special, like to me. So it just, I don't know, it was awesome.
If I may, before you, I thought the main event was amazing, and really, uh, all your matches with Christian have been amazing. I was, as you saw when you came back from your match on Collision with him, when you beat him on Collision, I thought that was one of the best matches we've ever had on television. And
I was texting people, calling people right after, and I said, if you didn't see Collision tonight, that was one of the best wrestling matches I've ever seen in my life, and it was a great wrestling match. And you guys did go outside and do crazy things, but it was unbelievable. And then tonight, somehow you took it to another level. I don't know how you topped it, but you did. It was an amazing main event. And on a night where all the matches stole the show, it was a main event that stole the show. And then everything you did in front of the hometown fans and the reaction and the love you got, I think you should just be so proud of what you did.
Yeah, it'll all sink in like tomorrow for sure. Like I'm really grateful for everything. And if anyone's curious to why I was bleeding in the very beginning, I was hitting the skateboard on the side.
Yeah, I
Of
figured that happened.
hit me in the face, and then
Okay.
and I was like,
I remember when he started bleeding, like in his entrance, because he didn't have the blood while he was coming down the ramp, and then when he started bashing the skateboard, I was like, okay, he must have got like a piece of wood must have like hit his like sliced his face or something.
I have.
But it was pretty
Yeah.
cool. It was a pretty cool like look. He had like one
Cool thing you've done today.
teardrop
This
of
is
like
the
blood
second
coming down. It
time
was
we've
pretty cool.
seen you be
And he
the
left it
incoming
there. It's
program
pretty cool.
from the hottest free agent on the market, like marquee signings that are coming in here. What's it like to be trusted in that position and participate in programs like that?
you know, like literally thought about this. I've been in so much debuts, Jeff Hardy, Sting, you know, like the list goes on, and it's incredible. I think it speaks volumes to Tony having the trust in the homegrown guys, you know, putting in that spot, and then you know it helps just elevate me. I have no problem whoever comes in this company. I want as much like talented people. Like I don't care about like, oh, I'm gonna lose my spot if this guy comes. No, it's just gonna make me work harder. And that's what we need is people just to work harder and like no one phone it in because I don't want anyone to take this place for granted.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm very, you know, I love being in that spot. So
Hi, Darby. Had a question. You very ingrained in the Northwest the wrestling scene. Sorry, music scene. I was going to say wrestling scene.
I did a few karaoke
Yes,
performances around here.
absolutely. You trained at Nick Wayne's father, Buddy Wayne, the late great Buddy Wayne. Can you share any stories about your time with Buddy Wayne? Anything come to mind when I say Buddy Wayne?
Well, you know, it's crazy because I literally became a part of the family. I was going on vacations with them, and I remember the first week I was there, no, actually the very first day I was there, he's like, "You look a little weird, but we got something here." And then, you know, and he's like, you know, because he came, you know, around the '80s and stuff, and he's like, "Yo," because at the time the school there was people that were like their characters were like bowlers and all this stuff. He's like, "Why don't you be a gas station attendant?" And I was like, "I don't know, man," but he was very, you know, I was very like, it's awesome being around him so early on because you don't realize what you got until it's gone, and then you also don't realize what you got until you're here. And then to see, like, if I was to go to any other school, who knows if I'd make it here.
Yes.
Everything happens for a reason.
True.
And then having like Buddy be there, and I remember like one time I I like shaved the top of my head off so it like looked like a science teacher with hair only on the sides, and then I super glued a bunch of car toys on top of my head, and then I couldn't get them off before practice. So I
Duh.
showed up with a beanie on, and Buddy's like, "All right, take off the beanie," and I took it off, and he's like, "What the hell's on your head?" And I had all these car toys. I'm like, "Can we just not practice DDTs today?" So I took I took like a butter knife and was trying to scrape them off in his kitchen. That
He
hurt
has a
so
nasty
bad.
knot on
But
his
I
forehead.
do remember actually Brian, Buddy, like was like, "Yo, like." I think he told me he's like talk to you, and there's a video of me dropping on that big old sculpture in front of the lightning bolt, like from the space, you know, that lightning bolt sculpture. And I remember meeting you way back. It was probably my first like month of like practice, and he's like, Brian, this is the weird dude that does all the crazy stuff. So it's like it's pretty cool though, you know, like you know. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm still all those things.
You put on some good muscle.
Yeah, I put on some size. Yeah, I literally started at 128 pounds when I started training because I was just like living off of $5 a week going to film school like in Arizona, and I dropped out, and I was just like, oh yeah, and then yeah, no, it's really cool.
I do think
Really
him
good to
and
have
MJF
him.
are friends. Who?
Just like I say all
Darby?
the time, and
I'm
it's
sure.
awesome that we have Shauna here.
I'm
You
sure.
know, like just to witness everything because, yeah, I don't know. I can't. I wish Buddy
They're
was
both
still
young
alive.
too,
Everyone
so
just
they
showed each other
probably
love because
have a
it was
lot in
really, really
common.
special to see what his son is doing now. Even though his son's a little dipshit, him and
Even though they're like
the,
completely
it's still
opposite people.
it's just yeah, it's very awesome.
Go on, Mark.
Hi, Mark Oak. What is it like to be standing in the ring when you've got Sting and Adam Copeland there? I mean, that just has to blow you away.
Yeah, I think wasn't it you that said we're gonna have this generational moment?
Yeah, three generations, in my opinion, three of the great wrestlers of my lifetime in three different generations, and all still in 2023, all of them can still go at the highest level, and it's three generations. They have, I think, a thread that ties them together. Frankly, three darker, esoteric figures in the world of pro wrestling, to say the least. And it just felt right to me to see the three of you together like that, and it was special.
Yeah, being in the ring with those guys, it's like a moment where it's like you can't really stop and smell the roses that much because I'm in so like I'm like, whoa, what a match that was. It like really took a lot out of me. But having like being in there and sharing that these are people that I grew up that kind of I remember being such a fan of Adam. And I told them this Friday night, I was like, the only wrestling shirt I felt cool wearing at school was the Rated R Superstar shirt. So it's like, and I'm like,
I
that's
used
like
to
my
wear so
goal
many
with wrestling
wrestling
is just to
shirts to
have people
school.
like be like, yo, that guy.
I wish I
He's
didn't in
different,
hindsight.
and
I
he
wish I
doesn't
didn't. I wish I
embody what
was
people think
just
wrestling's
wearing.
about,
I mean,
So
I wish
it's
I did.
cool. Like
I used to
things
wear
change
the same
in a good
ones
way. So being in the ring with those
weekly.
guys and
So
being
like,
them, like
this is
share
gonna
that
sound
moment
really
together
weird.
is so cool.
Mondays I will wear a WWE
Cool.
shirt.
I'm
It'll
so grateful
alternate
for it.
depending on how I'm
It was a
feeling.
great pay-per-view,
Uh,
and you
Thursdays I want to
stole the
say
show yet
I would
again,
wear a
sir. I
TNA
hope
shirt, but I only had
this
two.
is going to
I
be
had a
something we
Sting
can roll
shirt and a
through.
Samoa Joe shirt. So those
We'll
shirts would
yeah,
alternate
I'm gonna go to the ad show
every other
right
week,
now. I'll text
and
you,
then
and then I gotta
either
go at
Friday. I think Friday SmackDown was
I'm
on
gonna go at
Fridays
3 in
at
the
the
morning
time,
and go to
and
Mount
I
Everest.
would wear a WWE
Hopefully it's
shirt
with sun
on
when
those
you're climbing
days.
Mount Everest that
I
you're
didn't
wearing
have
that.
many.
So,
I didn't have many. I had
I
some
can't
not
thank you enough
bootleg
for the
ones, but I
night
had
and
some ones that
for
were
the man. Whether it's
uh like
Dynamite,
from like the swap
Rampage,
meet or whatever.
Collision,
I guess
WrestleDream
bootleg,
tonight, every pay-per-view.
but I would
Those folks come
alternate
in. You
those
absolutely
shirts
steal the show, no
every
matter
week
where it is on the
at
show. You always
school.
deliver. You go so far to
uh,
make the main event.
I probably shouldn't have
And
done that,
another great one. I
but
appreciate you
it
for
is what it
that.
is.
Thank you, Darby. I'll shake your left hand. Thank you.
I don't know if I'm allowed to put this on
There
YouTube.
was one.
I kind of want to, but I don't know if the video is
And
gonna get like
I imagine
copyright
a few
flagged.
of you might have questions if you hung in, and it's great.
I'll keep it on Twitch, I
I
guess.
can stick
I
around
want
and
to put
answer
it on
them. Thanks
YouTube.
for sticking around.
Sean Garrett, Cars 7 News.
I think I might end the
WrestleDream
stream
will
though.
be an annual
Now that
show,
all the
or
wrestlers are
is it gonna
done,
be tied to
and he's
Seattle
just gonna
or
Tony Khan's just gonna be talking about
It's a great question. I'm not sure about next year. I don't know about
like
the availability. We really lucked out on this
like
weekend with
show like what he's like Tony Khan he like after the wrestlers he just comes and talks about whatever he wants to talk about, which is nice. But I don't think I want to stream that.
NHL or NBA, and this time of the year with preseason getting going.
Like yeah, he's
all that
talking
stuff
about
to
like
consider. I can't speak
other
year ahead as
things,
to where the
not
event will
wrestling
be, but
related,
it'll
but
definitely be a WrestleDream. It was a very critically successful
yeah.
event. A lot of people are telling me it was the best show they've ever seen in wrestling, which means a lot to me. I think we're on just an incredible
I
run
do
with this
appreciate
show.
everybody for stopping by tonight. It was a nice stream. A lot of cool people showed up and talked to me tonight. I like that. I enjoy that. I enjoy talking about wrestling. I enjoy talking about video games. Really great AEW show. Their wrestling speaks to me on a personal level. When I watch WWE, it feels like I'm just watching nothing. It feels like I'm just watching a soulless product. Maybe they're doing better now, but I don't want to. I don't think I ever want to put any more effort into anything WWE related. I don't watch NXT anymore. I stopped watching NXT like way before I stopped watching the main roster stuff. But I don't know. Their product just doesn't speak to me at all. Like I watched their stuff. I was starting to watch it again when Cody Rhodes went, and I was like, okay, maybe this will be good for him. Maybe he can be world champion in like less than a year. Then he got hurt, and I was like, okay, maybe next year at WrestleMania. And then that didn't happen because X, Y, and Z, and then they want to play it up as being like, oh, we're building it. It'll we're in the third inning or what, I don't know baseball terms, but well, whatever Paul Heyman was talking about when he was on their little fake scrum, um, they were like, basically they were like, you're going to watch us and watch how everything plays out, and they're gonna wrap it up in a a tight little bow, um, and however they're gonna make their plate, they're gonna make a plate. You don't know the ingredients, you don't know what you're eating, but they're gonna make it, and then you're gonna eat it. That's their mindset. In AEW, it's completely different. It's we're going to listen to you. We're going to allow these people to go out there and wrestle for you. And if it doesn't work, we'll try something else. The AEW is not afraid to change up their like their roles and things. They're not afraid to say, oh, this isn't working out. We're gonna have to go with something else, or we're gonna have to go with someone else, or this person's gonna have to be, or whatever. They think on the fly. WWE is like, this is what's gonna happen. It's gonna happen whether we like it or not, and that's it. And they have not learned from that at all. Roman hasn't been on TV in months, and he's the world champion. I don't count Seth being world. He has a fake world title. Honestly, in my opinion, that world title means nothing. It means nothing. In my opinion, that world title doesn't mean anything. It does not make me want to watch them. Nobody is fighting for it. Shinsuke, okay, like his time in the sun unfortunately passed a while ago. They're trying to make him a bigger deal, but he got beat by Roman. Everybody got beat by Roman. So we're having all these guys who got beat by Roman fighting for a secondary title, not even secondary, a title that shouldn't even exist in the first place, only because they're too afraid to break up the mold, break their own mold, to start new, to do something fresh. They're too afraid. What? They don't have anything to be afraid of. They make more money than any other wrestling company ever. And it's like, you listen to the fans. Well, you hear the fans. You don't listen to them. You hear them, and you see like, oh, okay, we'll do something with this person eventually. And then when that person gets cold, then it's their problem, and then it's their fault for getting cold, even though the booking isn't uh like keeping them hot. They're getting a react like LA Knight. LA Knight almost lost his spot, not spot, but he almost lost his aura that he had after the Bray Wyatt stuff, because they were like, okay, we don't know what to do with this guy. He's gonna come out, cut promos randomly. He didn't have a direction at all until recently, until the Miz stuff, because they were like, we're just gonna have him just wrestle on SmackDown, lose every week, uh, and whatnot. He was losing every week up until like the last like 2 months, and he's been getting good reactions ever since the beginning of the year. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think about that company really. I try not to. Um, I keep up with them, but I don't watch. I don't even watch like the clips on Twitter or whatever. I just I just go about my business and watch AEW, support AEW because this company has not steered me wrong at all. They've never been like they've never pulled the rug from under me. They think about us, and it's an extremely good feeling. And I wish more people watched AEW at least live. I know they get a lot of viewers and views. AEW is a hot pro wrestling company. They might not get millions of people at that moment in time, but millions of people watch AEW every week. They do. It's factual. And wrestling will never be a a household product. Never. It'll never be a. It'll never be as hot as it was in the '90s. That's just facts. WWE is doing their lowest numbers ever in terms of viewership ever. WWE used to get 4 million people tuning into Raw. Now they can barely even do. They can't even do 2 million. They can't. Raw can't even get 2 million now, and it's not because of fan interest. It's because of people not having cable. There's a number of reasons. I'm sure a lot more people than their normal numbers watching it, because there's people all on websites and stuff watching the shows like that, and those don't count obviously, but there's a lot more people than just the people that watch it on TV that are watching the show. And I don't know, it's just it's just online support too, like all, not even online support, just online the wrestling. Like if I don't say anything about WWE, that I don't anymore. The last time I did was WrestleMania, around WrestleMania time, and it was because I was upset and I was just like, what is going on? Like, I was having fun the WrestleManias up until the main event of the last show of the second night. But I don't say anything about WWE. I don't put anything negative about them online ever. Well, since then. But even then, it wasn't even nothing crazy. It was just like, why did they do this type of thing? But like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. That's how I was brought up. And I don't, if I don't watch it, I don't have no opinion on it. If I don't care about it, I don't have any opinion on it. And a lot of people take that to heart, like I'm a turncoat, not a turncoat, but I'm like, if I don't like it, if it don't interest me, I'm not about to watch it. I don't have no opinion on it. It's just I'll just enjoy AEW way too much to go back to watching a stale product. And WWE is stale. It's just systematic. It's very by the numbers, and they've never done anything, or it's been a very long time since they've done anything not by the numbers. It's everything is heavily produced, everything is heavily edited, everything is heavily done in their favor, but only in their favor. Only the people running the company, not the fans. And I'm a fan, so if you're gonna treat me wrong, I'm not gonna watch. AW has not treated me wrong at all in the 4 years they've been around. They've only been here 4 years, and they have the best. They have the best pay-per-views I've ever seen in a wrestling company. And I'm sure Ring of Honor like has a lot. I'm sure New Japan has a lot too, but AEW is current. It's now, and it's something that for the last 4 years I've been extremely entertained by as a pro wrestling fan. I don't know. I don't want to speak too many negative thoughts on WWE, but at the end of the day, uh, their product just doesn't interest me. They don't have they have the people I want to watch. I love AJ Styles. AJ Styles has been my favorite wrestler since I was in like middle school, for the last like almost 20 years. But I don't even watch WWE for him anymore. I can't even do that because they're not doing anything with him, but two, it's like I don't know. It's just I just can't watch him be doing what he's doing compared to what he's done before. I know what AJ's capable of. But I'm sure he's old and just tired at this point, so can't really do much anyway. But he can still go. He still has it. He has like I'm sure AJ has like a few 5-star matches left in him. I think he's like 46, 47, maybe 45. I don't remember how old he is. But he needs to get on that DDP yoga. and rejuvenate his life. Because if Chris Jericho's around here doing lion salts and putting on 5-star matches with Will Ospreay, AJ Styles can do that too. And I'm pretty sure Jericho does uh DDP yoga, or at least he did, and it helped him a lot. Anyway, I'm just not ranting, but I'm just talking about uh my interest in wrestling and how AEW has filled that void I've had as a wrestling fan for way too long. Way too long. At one point in time, I was watching WWE shows because it felt like a job. It felt like a chore. It felt like I had to watch something that I didn't really want to watch at all. I've been feeling like that for years when I was watching Raw and SmackDown every week, and I was like, do I really want to watch this? I want to play video games. Like, I'd rather play my video games instead of watching Raw, because literally nothing happens. Nothing happens on their TV. Nothing. I'm just like, okay, like I just wasted like 3 hours watching Raw. I guess it's time to go to bed because I have to go to work the next day. I hated feeling like that. It's been it's been such a I've been not even just my wrestling. I like my life has completely changed since I stopped watching WWE, because it felt like I was just watching it because I had to, because I've been doing it for so long. I was like, why should I stop even if I'm not having fun watching it? Most of them, eventually it just ended up just being background noise. I would just have it on, be like, oh, there's this person. Oh, this happened. Okay, and then I'll just ignore it until it went off, and I'll be like, okay, did anything happen on that show? And I'll catch up on Twitter if I missed anything, but nothing happened. AEW, at least something happens often. Every week something happens for the most part. Something that people gets people talking happens. AEW has never felt like it's dragging like Dynamites or Collisions or any show that I've watched of theirs. If it never felt like it was dragging, it never felt like I was just watching it just to watch it and not because I want to like do something else. Never. I will if Final Fantasy 16 came out, I've been looking forward to that game for years. Uh, and when Dynamite would be on, I literally would stop playing Final Fantasy 16 for like 2 hours to watch Dynamite, because I'm not about to play the game and be like, oh, I missed this. I don't want to, because you can always just pause the game. So I'm just gonna pause it, leave it paused until Dynamite's off, whatever. Spider-Man comes out in 2 or 3 weeks, and when Dynamite is on, well, actually, it'll be the week after, because the Dynamite before Spider-Man. Hopefully, I can get Spider-Man early. That would be nice. Hopefully, I can get it on like Wednesday or something, but I doubt it. But I hope. But anyways, Spider-Man will be out like a week, for like a week by the next Dynamite that comes on after. And I'm not gonna be playing Spider-Man while Dynamite's on, because I'm gonna be playing. I'm gonna be watching Dynamite because I want to see what my favorite wrestlers are doing that week, and see how the show is gonna be. See what matches are gonna be on the show. Um, I think New Japan opened my eyes heavily. I started watching New Japan 10 years ago. I think it was Wrestle Kingdom 9. I think it was Wrestle Kingdom 8, actually. It was whatever one uh Prince Devitt. It was his last Wrestle Kingdom. I think it was 2013. Uh and I was like, I never watched New Japan. I've always heard of it, never watched it. So I stayed up till like 1 a.m. and I had to work the next day early. So I was like, how am I gonna do this? I want to watch the show. How am I gonna do it? So I stayed up all night to watch Wrestle Kingdom. I saw Prince Devitt versus Kota Ibushi, I want to say. Saw that match. I love that match. I don't remember what else was on the show. I think it was Shinsuke in the main event against Tanahashi. I think that was that year. for the Intercontinental title, and I was like, why is the Intercontinental title main eventing over the world title? That didn't make sense to me. But eventually it did because Shinsuke was incredibly over at the time, and his star presence was something else. I wish he can go back to that level. Now he's like he likes to, yeah, I don't know what his thing is right now, but he needs to get that aura back before it's too late, and he's running out of time. Um, but yeah, New Japan opened my eyes to different styles of wrestling, different types of wrestling, and then I started watching Ring of Honor. I started watching like I wasn't really into too many wrestling shows besides TNA and WWE for a long time. I would watch YouTube videos of like Ring of Honor stuff or whatever, but I didn't really I wasn't able to watch it because it didn't come on TV, and I was like, how am I supposed to watch this if it doesn't come on TV? So I started watching Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, or what was it called before, NWA Hollywood, and then Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, which was my own over here local, not local, but over here a SoCal promotion. Their little TV 1 hour little TV product that came on at like 3 in the morning sometimes, so I'd have to like DVR it. But that's where I learned Sean Ricker, LA Knight. That's where I learned where he was at. I was like, oh, this guy is WWE bound. That was like over 10 years ago. And I was like, this guy is what WWE wants. This is like, he's right here. There's John Cena 2 right here. And they had him in like 2013, 2014, and then didn't do anything with him. He was in NXT, didn't do anything in NXT. He had a battle royal match. I think that's it. I don't know why they didn't do anything with him. He had it all, and then he left. He went to Impact. Well, he got fired, and then he went to Impact, NWA, wherever else, and then he came back to WWE, and now he's at where he's at right now, which is good, but took them a little bit too long to see his star, honestly. And it's unfortunate Paul Bearer passed before he could help Sean Ricker get in the door earlier. But I'm sure that that played a part in him getting in WWE in the first place, the first time. Um, but I don't know. I just started talking about whatever my experience in wrestling, watching wrestling is. Everyone's is different. It's always good to hear someone else's journey as a wrestling fan. Because I watched I didn't watch WCW at all for the most part. I think I caught very little bits and pieces of WCW growing up. But I was a WWF guy all the way. I knew of Goldberg. I would see commercials with Goldberg and Sting all the time. Scott Steiner. Um, I would see those commercials all the time. For Nitro. Never watched it, but I knew of them. I had the games too. I had Mayhem, and I was like, why do I have this? I don't even know who most of these people are besides like Hogan and stuff. I was like, who's Horace Hogan? I was like, I didn't know who he was at the time. Now I know who he is. But Raven's flock. I was like, oh, this Raven was in WCW. I thought he was in WWF. There's a lot of confusion growing up because I was like, why is Chavo Guerrero in this game? Why is Eddie Guerrero in this game? Why is it EDDY and not EDDIE? Yeah, it was confusing time for me because I didn't grow up watching WCW stuff, but I ended up watching all the Nitros, every single Nitro. Well, not. I ended up watching every single Nitro from 1997 onward. I didn't watch anything prior to 1997 because 97 is when they're at their like their. I think 98 was probably their best year, but 97 was like the start of it. But Nitro is incredibly fun to watch. If anyone is listening right now, watch WCW Nitro. Watch every single WCW Nitro. I didn't watch Thunder yet. I probably should because I missed a lot on Thunder too. Like a lot of different storylines that would happen on Thunder that wasn't on Nitro. Even though Nitro was 33 hours, and I didn't even know. WWE has WWEified everybody's brains into thinking WCW was a horrible company, and to thinking that Raw was like the first wrestling like TV 3 hour show. I didn't know WC Nitro was 3 hours before, way before Raw. Like I had no idea Nitro was ever 3 hours, and I was watching the Nitros, and I was like, wait, why is this longer than usual? Because they were like filling time for some or whatever was going on. And I heard on a podcast that Nitro was 3 hours at one point. And I was like, what? It didn't. I thought it was 2 hours, but it was weird to find out through a podcast and watching it on my own recently. I was like, well, like the last like 2 years, 2 years ago when I watched it, it was very confusing. WWE likes to they just like to change history to be in their favor. It's so annoying, so annoying. But it is what it is. But I'm gonna go up and get up and go up out of here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to put this on YouTube. I'm gonna try. It would be nice to, but since I'm recording over a AEW thing, I don't know if it'll let me. But it is a YouTube thing, so we'll see. But I appreciate everybody for stopping by tonight. Whoever did, I appreciate you guys for watching, listening to me. I appreciate y'all for chatting with me. I didn't expect to stream 2.5 hours. I wanted to stream like 30 minutes. I wanted to stream like 30 minutes just to get my thoughts out. But then the scrum started, and I was like, I was listening to everybody talk and reacting to what everybody was saying throughout the night. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for stopping by and chatting and just checking out the stream. I do appreciate it. Hope you guys could come back one day. When I either playing video games, I play video games mainly on here. Sometimes I react to stuff, not all the time, but when I have something I'm interested, I react to it, and I have fun. I have fun doing it. I don't get that many people up in here. It's weird on YouTube. I post some reaction stuff. Sometimes it gets little views, sometimes it gets a lot of views. And on TikTok, I posted a couple things recently that's been getting a crazy amount of views. Uh, I'm happy. I'm happy when that happens to me because it feels like it feels like I'm invisible sometimes. It feels like I don't get like it feels like I just don't exist sometimes. It's weird. Like it's really weird. I've been at the same following count on Twitter for a very long time. I don't think I've grown in Twitter followers in years. Like most of the people that follow me are bots, or at least recently, and then those get deleted, and then it goes back to my normal count. But yeah, if y'all like this, follow me. Like the video on YouTube if I put it on YouTube. Subscribe to me if I put it on YouTube. Appreciate it. I'm always down to talk about stuff I like, stuff I enjoy. And if y'all like it too, uh, leave some comments. We can talk about it in the chat. I mean, in the chat and in the comments. I will do my best to. I always try to to um to answer everyone or talk to anyone because it's cool. It's cool to talk about stuff we like and enjoy together. But yeah, I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank y'all for joining. I do appreciate it, and you guys have a good one.